Welcome to another edition of Strange New Pod. I'm your Fleet Admiral and host, Julian Brown, alongside the best bridge crew this side of some Klingon K-pop. You know you like it. Bruce Horak doing Klingon K-pop.
Hey, starting already.
Giraffes are already mad at me. Speaking of, Praetor Giraffe is here, ready for a few of Mariner's Orion Hurricanes. Those looked really good. They looked really good. And Captain MC is here slowly, as she has mentioned, warming up to Subspace Rhapsody. Welcome back. How we doing, guys?
Doing okay. I am Surviving.
You're here.
I'm
here.
Recovery mode.
I'm in post-con crash.
Post-con
you have the con crush before, you pre-con crush, and then you have the post-con crash. Definitely heavily into the post-con crash right now.
And appreciate your dedication for being here for this one. So yeah, do it.
For Star Trek.
I see Colin's in the chat. I like YouTube does this like little #1 badge for the first person to comment. So Colin's got the crown for the rest of the night. What's up, Colin? What's up, rest of the YouTube collective? How goes it? We are here this week because it's only been about 2 years, but we're deep diving and breaking drafts. Like, holy shit, 2 years. Deep diving and breaking down Strange New World Season 2 ahead of next week's Season 3 premiere. From the crossover to the musical and individual character arts, we're going to break it all down for Season 3. Gene's in the chat. What's good? Our dear friend Gene. Oh, and Matt Harker, one of our Badmirals. Good chat already going tonight. Patrons, we love you, but we have a lot to get through. A whole entire season that, again, I'm just going to keep saying it because I can't wrap my head around it. Like almost 2 years it's taken to get this review out. Yeah, we're almost there. I will give a quick thank you and shout out to our Badmirals, our EPs. You keep the Enterprise on key at all times. Simon Stager, Chris Waterman, Tara Poland, Brett Jones, Dana, Matt Harker, Jim McMahon, Maggie Light, and Pfeff. Who's the guy in the upper right? It's me. It's Clark Kent.
Clark Kent.
How you doing? Nice.
Finish it.
Sorry. Yeah, Clark Kent, Daily Planet. That's my new job. We are gonna get into some quick news before we start this pod. Giraffe, you just said it. You are having the con fog. Baycon, how'd it go?
It was great. I'm still processing because I think I worked 15 hours every day from 8 a.m. to like midnight. That's more than me. I don't know. It was great. There were so many people that were there. I was joined by Amy Imhoff, Jesse Earl. We had one of my friends, Dr. Alicia Matz, who is writing a book on Star Trek and classics. So we talked about this. I feel Josh Gilliland from the Legal Geeks was there. We had Mars, Mars from
Mars, Sexy Armis, let's go.
Sexy Armis, who helped me stall for 30 minutes while they left me alone at the mic during the masquerade and twerked to save my life. I cannot make that shit up. Who else? Oh, my friend Steven was here that you may know, who is a great Roman cosplayer. So many people, so many great guests, some people from San Diego, people from all over the place. Yeah, it's slowly becoming, my goal is to take over and just fill the con more and more with people I know. So right now they have 1,000 people attending. I plan to bring an extra 1,000 with me.
Draft's going to be the president of Baycon in like 2 years.
No, so the chair this year, Chair Sally Rose did an exceptional work like last year. I would not envy anybody chairing a con. It's an insane work to do. I just show up, I'm pretty, I'm funny, and go left and right. I had the opportunity to meet J.K. Woodward, who wrote the comic, the IDW comic, Mirror Broken, which is the TNG Mirror Universe. I interviewed him. The panel is so funny. I can't wait for you to listen to it. I allegedly was a little bit drunk.
Allegedly.
Yo, I was like 45 hours in like straight work. Don't know anymore what I was doing, but it was fun. Can't wait to go back next year. And yeah, big up to the folks at Baycon. They always bring the party, so that was nice.
Nice. It sounds like a great time. And we will have some bonus podcasts because we did some World Draft and Mars. Not me. I had nothing to do with it. Did recordings. So
yeah,
keep an eye. We have a lot going on with Stranger Worlds coming back, but we will try and get those out to you somewhat soon. I love, by the way, that Jean is watching us from her hotel TV, Airbnb. That's pretty cool. We're on TV.
Support your local con.
Yeah, support your local cons.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
San Diego Comic-Con is great, but there's so many local con that needs your support and like vendors that need your money.
Yeah.
Share the wealth.
Agreed. MC, you made some merch, and one of them was a really cool poster for Best of Both Worlds because it was celebrating its 35th anniversary, 35th anniversary.
Yeah, 35th.
What did you think of it? Did you like what you came up with?
Oh, I really liked it. I think it's one of my favorite drawings.
I think so too. And you know what? The magnet came out super fucking dope too.
Oh my God.
Wow, that is sexy.
Yeah. I asked MC before the pod if she wanted a surprise on the pod or to see it before. She said surprise. So that was the reaction I was hoping for. So patrons, $2 and above, you'll all be getting these. And then $10 and above, you'll be getting these along with the, do I have it in my drawer yet?
I need to become a patron again.
You do. Well, I'm gonna bring you stuff. And the Voyager, the Fairhaven postcard will be coming your way as well. So yeah, these came out. I was nervous because they were like, there's issues with the design, some of the fonts too small, but it's all readable. It came out super sweet. Like I'm very happy with them. So and MC, you should be too.
I'm so happy. I want that on my fridge.
Yeah, I'll have to you have to remind me. I'll send you one when I'm sending out pod mail. And Draft, I'll bring you some in 2 weeks. Speaking of 2 weeks, this isn't on the outline, but speaking of San Diego Comic-Con, Draft mentioned it. We will be there, Draft and I, covering the fucking chaos that is SDCC.
Don't call my local con chaos.
Am I wrong?
I don't think it's chaos. I think it's overpopulated.
Okay, I would agree with overpopulated. I think that's a better way to put it.
Because there is a schedule. The schedule is right. The things are happening on time at the right place. It's just that you're trying to do it with 1 billion people around you, which makes it very hard.
At a convention center that's separated by train tracks. It is.
There's a bridge.
There is a bridge. It's true. It's true. I love San Diego. Real quick, as we're talking about season 2 tonight, we just started our season 2 watch along. We finished season 1. The gang watched Among the Lotus Eaters tonight. We're still going. Everybody that joins the watch alongs every night, usually at 9 p.m. Eastern, gets entered to win a copy of Strange New World season 2 on Steelbook. So join. We will announce the winner of that for the season 3 premiere next week. And then I finally did my laundry. So check out our merch. There it is. Eric's design. I don't know how well you could see it on the screen. Live Long and Prosper. This is a take on For All Mankind. It's the NX01. It's a great shirt. Eric did a killer job. We have that. Eric is promising a shirt that's going to make me mad. I'm guessing it's Tuvix related. I don't know yet. I'm guessing that's what it is. It's going to be great. Go to our shop, strangenewpod.bigcartel.com. Buy some stuff. Let us know what you want to see, and we'll try and get some stuff out to you. But please support the pod. Give us your hard-earned money, because then we can keep doing fun things like Comic Cons and Baycons and bonus pods and, you know, all the other shit that we do.
Justify making more merch.
And justify making more merch. Exactly. So, did I miss anything in the news front? We all good? Yeah.
Good.
All right.
Can I add something? Actually, it's in a quite while. But if you're in San Diego in August, there's gonna be Friendship Day at the San Diego Comic Con Museum, August 9. It's gonna be so cool. Doctor Who and Star Trek panel. So keep that in your calendar if you're around.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
If you stay longer than Comic Con, you know.
Yeah. All right. Cool. We haven't done one of these in quite a while because there just hasn't really been an opportunity to, but we have a strange new loop tonight.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. And Giraffe didn't read the outline.
No.
If you could have added one episode to Strange New World season 2, what would it have been and why?
I know exactly.
Go ahead.
What I would have added.
I'm gonna say.
I would have added an actual episode about Ortegas.
Of course. Yeah.
Because Among the Lotus Eaters, I think that's the name of it.
It is. Yep.
It's a terrible
Your favorite
version
episode, Julian?
We're going to talk about
Ortega's
that in a
episode.
second.
It's like they said that was the Ortega's episode. It's a terrible Ortega's episode.
No, it's not good. No. Yeah.
Agreed. I thought you were gonna say something else, but I'm gonna say it. I wanted to follow up on the Sarin Squall.
Ah, yes. Yes.
That too.
Yeah,
Like,
agreed.
they teased that shit season 1, and then we never talk about it ever again. Okay, 90s Star Trek.
What is this? A 27 episode season? Yeah.
So that I wanted to follow up, like not even necessarily, you know, on what his face, the brother, but on Captain Angel.
Yeah. Jesse James Keitel needs to come back onto Stranger Worlds like ASAP. So
For
good.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Matt
fuck
Harker just
Cybok,
said
we
the
want
same thing.
Angel.
Yeah, right. Oh, that should be a soundbite. Gene says another crossover with Lower Decks with Tendi, Rutherford, and Ransom. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. My answer is a cheat. Giraffe already said it. Among the Lotus Eaters is like one of my least favorite episodes of Star Trek of all time. Like this big moment in Pike and the Enterprise crew's history, and they just turn it into. I don't want to knock writers because there's a lot of people that love this episode and like more power to them. And
They're wrong.
But they're wrong. I hate this episode. It completely like I feel like takes away everything that like made Pike tired of Starfleet good. Like I wish this was a story really revisiting the whole situation and had more action. And I think this would have been so I would have written this episode to be more of like why exactly like did they lose so many crew? You know, this would have been the episode to reintroduce Dr. Boyce. You know, like have someone play him. Make this a much stronger
Someone?
episode.
We know who would play him.
Yes. But just make it an episode. Like, I don't know.
So,
Jeffrey
not
Coombs, by the
adding-
way, if no one knows who we're talking about.
You're not adding an episode, you're rewriting an episode.
Yes. I cheated. I cheated.
I mean, I
Can
think
I rewrite an episode too?
No, only I get to cheat.
What you want to keep it within the spirit of the Strange New Loop is you want an episode about Pike's trauma from that happened before the cage and the separate amnesia episode that they decided to put together.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, an amnesia episode is the worst thing to pair with Pike's trauma because the way amnesia episodes are supposed to work, like actually I will say like what happened in Ortega's storyline kind of is the only way the amnesia storyline works because it's supposed to be that when you pull away all of the characters, you know, memories, you're supposed to get like the heart of them. And that does not work with what they were trying to do with Pike. It does kind of work with what they were trying to do with Ortega's. It's just we didn't need to get down to the heart of Eric Ortega's yet. We needed to get some surface stuff about her first.
Yeah.
And I will die on the hill that Erika Ortegas is more than I fly the ship.
Oh my God. Like, and that's all that episode was. Everybody's like, that's such a defining moment. And it's not.
It's your job. Don't be defined by
it's
your
not, you're not.
fucking job.
Like,
You're
I
more
just-
than a job.
you know, and Pike was like lacking a little bit this season because he took maternity leave and that's no one's fault. But, you know, he just was more of a background character than like the lead until later in the season. And this would have been like the episode to really like flesh out the whole Rigel 7 thing and more because like he's gone through his trauma about, you know, what's going to happen to him in 7 years. Let's revisit this too, because he literally almost quits. Twice he almost quit Starfleet. This being one of them. Give us that story instead. I cheated. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, I fixed it for you.
You did. That's why I keep you around and pay you the not big bucks.
You pay me?
Somebody's being paid.
You have been paid.
Yeah, okay.
You've been paid to Draft. Don't give me those eyeballs.
I've been reimbursed.
We're punchy tonight.
We are. Let's go into our review of season 2. We're going to focus on a couple of the big episodes mainly those old scientists in Subspace Rhapsody, and then we'll do what we did for season 1. We'll go down character by character and talk about their arcs, because we've already reviewed all the episodes and deep dive them. So if you want to watch those, go and watch those episodes of the podcast. Please do,
because we could use the views.
Yeah, views are always nice. Let's talk first. Oh, by the way, our order will go seniority, draft, then MC. That's how I've been doing it lately. It's working. I'm not changing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Those old scientists. We're talking crossover first. Just got to talk about the impact of this, right? It was announced at Comic-Con, and then just like, this episode is epic. Like, what do you think that those old scientists had, like that impact that it had on Star Trek, if any? Giraffe.
I think first of all, it's the best episode of the season, hands down. Like, it was deep, it was funny, it was well written, it was intelligent, it had several layers. You could read it in different ways. It had great character arc. It was advancing, and the Lower Decks characters and the Strange New World characters. No note. Again, the Lower Decks writers room is unequaled and unbeaten and on top of the world with the Prodigy writers room for me. I think it had an impact because it really ties together the universes. Like, until now, it was just us like being like, oh, it's this thing and it's reference here and there, you know, like little like footnotes. And having a real crossover between seasons was, you know, decisive for Star Trek. I hope they'll do more, because I think that certain fans could get some help with understanding that all the series are in the same universe and they can pick and choose.
People forget that. They sure do.
Yeah. And I think it also gave the opportunity to Tony Newsom and Jack Quaid to just embody their character, which the casting on Lower Decks was absolutely so excellent that they were able to do that.
Yeah.
And that's not given to every single animation.
Yeah. 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 Yep. MC?
But yeah.
I am shocked that this worked. When it was first announced, I was just like, oh my God, how is this going to go? There was just so many things that could have gone wrong. And somehow they avoided that, because every single thing went right with this. Jurass, right, this is the best episode of the season. It is like my comfort episode now. It is like, you know, hot chocolate in Star Trek form. So the impact of the crossover is that it does kind of just blow things open, in that anything is possible in Star Trek, because I don't think anybody saw something like this coming. Like, we do have crossovers for other Star Treks, but not ones that span hundreds of years and different mediums.
Yeah.
So it hits so hard, and it makes you greedy for more.
It does make you greedy for more. I would totally agree with that. Like, yes, another one would be awesome. It would be great if they did one like every season. I don't think that we can ask for that. I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be nice.
A lot of money.
I want to talk about Jack Quaid and Tawny Newsom's transition to live action, because, again, MC said, I'm shocked that this worked, but like, of course it worked. Those two are brilliant. What did you think about how they turned? Because it can be really difficult to take characters from an animated show where they're also not working in a booth together to working together all of a sudden in live action. Giraffe, what did you think about this? Because I thought they did it was like watching Lower Decks.
I think that so first of all, yeah, they did great. It was absolutely mind-boggling how well they fitted into those uniforms and how well they just acted like their character. It's really hard to embody in live action an animated character, just because animation makes their eye bigger and like the gestures bigger, but they still managed to translate that very well. I don't remember who directed the episode, but I mean, the
Jonathan
Frakes.
Sorry, I forgot.
It's okay.
But
Riker.
okay, so Riker. So, oh my god, that scared me. I'm again not all here, so we're on the struggle bus. So yeah, incredible direction, but also we know that they kind of started those character on their own in a booth at home, you know, and I think that it's a little bit like you see in TOS where it's hard to separate Spock from Nimoy and Kirk from Shatner because they kind of made those character themselves and they became kind of part of them. So it's interesting to see how well that worked. I think it started in Chicago when they all came in their uniforms.
It was, yeah. And Boimler, Jack did the Jack where he put his butthole up in the air.
No, that was San Diego Comic-Con. No, was it?
No, that was Chicago. That was Chicago.
That was Chicago.
Yeah.
I think that they just started slowly to play with this character, and I mean talks to the humanity of the characters, how they're written, that they're so transparent to actors in a way. But yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all.
Nice. MC?
Oh, we were talking before the show about how booked and blessed Jack Quaid is, and I think that is because he is one of the most talented actors of the current day, and so it does not surprise me that he was able to make this just smooth transition from playing Boimler on
Lower Decks.
Well, no, not on Lower Decks, but in animation.
Oh, animated, yeah.
Not on animation, but then going to live action. That works totally well. And Tonnie Newsome is also incredibly talented. And I think Tonnie actually strikes me the most, like as much as I think Jack Quaid does an amazing job, Tonnie Newsome has this glow about her in this episode. It kind of reminds me of David Tennant when he was doing the episode School Reunion for Doctor Who, which is the episode where the Doctor meets Sarah Jane again.
Oh, yeah.
And it is the fan coming out, because you know that Tonnie is such a big fan of Star Trek, and you can feel that in so much of what's going on, and they're able to translate that to her character by having her be such a fan of Uhura, and it's magical. And I think that as good as these actors were, you would not have the same impact if you did not have somebody who was a fan, because you get that kind of thing also in another similar episode, Trials and Tribulations, because you did have it's Terry Farrell, who was a huge Star Trek fan, and it just kind of like comes off in her character. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that's a huge part of this. And also Jonathan Frakes is one of the best directors of Star Trek, and he can direct all of the episodes as far as I'm concerned. And yeah,
I don't think it would. Yeah, go ahead.
Have you watched Space Force?
Yeah, she's so good.
Okay. Captain Ali as like kind of something of like Mariner also, I feel like in the characters. So if you have not watched Space Force, go watch it. Tonnie Newsome is in it.
Netflix.
And it's really funny.
It is really funny.
Yeah.
You know, the minute that Mariner comes out of the portal and is like, "Oh man, it's you guys," but is Uhura here? Like, it's just like you're sold, right? Like you're just sold on the moment, and you know that she's gonna kill it in the role. The minute that Jack wakes up, he's like, Captain Christopher Pike. It's like, oh man, it's just it worked just flawlessly. We got a chat, super chat. Thank you, one of our awesome Badmirals, K-Dubs, and Jack got the Boimler walk down in live action. Yes,
the Section
did.
31 power walk.
The power walk. Oh, love it. Yes, he did. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for the super chat, Chris. Let's keep it on Boimler and Mariner, right? Because as they keep going in this episode, they have an effect on the crew of the Enterprise. What are little things that you noticed? What are things that you liked? And what do you think that they maybe took away from it, Giraffe?
I think the best scene for me is the one between Mariner and Uhura. And I think it's interesting because when you're in your 20s, you always think that your life will account to nothing, or maybe not, or you have this very, very weird feeling of time, that you're going to be old tomorrow, and then you have to do all the things now, and that everything is so important, but also that, oh my God, what's my place in the universe? And to meet somebody that is a fan of you in the future, that's kind of a wild situation for a 20-year-old, let's be honest. But it's always it's opening the realm of possibilities. I really like this scene because it's not only, you'll account to something great, but you'll help so many people become something great, become the best version of themselves, including me, so it's kind of a beautiful conversation of always keeping your eye open to all the things you can become and all the best version of you that you can become. I know it takes you out maybe a little bit of the episode, because I feel there's a meta conversation going on that is also very important for fans. But I feel they navigated that very well, in the idea that yes, it takes you a little bit out of the situation, but it's an important moment to do so, and I'm very thankful they did it, because I think Mariner in the future will mostly account to a Star Trek icon as Uhura. This is me dreaming, but
I think you're right.
So.
I think you're right.
She was already starting to move towards there. Like all of the Cali class ships were like in awe of.
Yeah.
So I think that was I don't remember the question. Again,
no, that was a good. No, that was a good answer. That was perfect.
Answered, yes. Okay.
Yeah,
great.
you did. You did great. You did great. You always do great. MC.
Well, Boimler broke up Spock and Chapel, so I will forever be grateful to him. No, seriously, there's just so many small things that stood out to me, particularly the line where he says to Ortegas, "You're a war hero." It was so nice because, like, we know that Pike, that Spock, that Uhura, that these people are icons because they tell us it because they were all on the original series. But it's nice to have the characters that we don't know so much about. And of course, there's the wonderful plot line with number one. It's so beautiful. It's so meta because we don't know what happens to number one. Like, why does she end up leaving the Enterprise? And the fact that Boimler is so nervous around her that convinces her that something terrible happens to her. We were all thinking something like that too. It's
we
like,
all 100%.
What's gonna happen to number one? And that it's instead that he's just starstruck by her is just so sweet. And it calls back to one of my favorite episodes of this season, of the series, probably. And we also get a wonderful joke about Ransom and Jerry O'Connell being married to Rebecca Romaine.
Yep. I love that. What I like too is that, one thing about Strange New Worlds, this is a very loose crew, right? Like Captain Pike wants to feel like a family. That's his captaining style. So this has always been a bit of a loose crew. Una likes to run a tight ship, but they're still, looser than probably Kirk's crew. But what I like is that these two just immediately beam onto the ship and start causing chaos. And by the end of the episode, they're even looser, right? They're talking to, like, Ortegas is like fangirling about Travis Mayweather. Ortegas is fangirling about, Travis Mayweather, and La'an is like, I love grapplers. It's like they're just loosening up and they're remembering like things that they love about Starfleet. And one of the things that's so great about Lower Decks is like getting that point of view from Boimler, who's always geeking out about things that he loves about Starfleet. It's just such a nice little connection, how much like they end up rubbing off. They even rub off on Pike to a point, I love it. I love it.
We'd all love to rub off on Pike.
Oh, daddy.
To come back to something serious after rubbing off. I think it's a good reflection also in around your position in history. Like, we all think that, well, it's my life, and then one day I'll die, and then that be it, but we all have impact on so many people around us. And I think that it's a good thing to remind everyone that our decision, our actions, our words have impact beyond our own humanity and our own self. And I think that it's interesting that people like in the Enterprise crew, kind of are unaware of this in a certain way, like that somebody in the future would know about them when they're the crew of the flagship. Like, yeah, it's kind of shit that people are going to learn at school or at Starfleet Academy. You learn about the NX-01. Why wouldn't they learn about you? And I think it's an interesting, interesting linking to also the power of characters, but also the power of just, being part of the greater history of mankind. And I love the fact that the lower deckers are themselves unable to have this reflection about themselves, which cracks me up beyond everything.
Yeah. No, that's a great point, Giraffe. Well done. This is a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway because there have been some crossovers. Was this Trek's most successful crossover?
I love Trial and Tribulations.
Yeah, right?
I was thinking about it. As much as I love Trials and Tribulations, it's one of my absolute favorite episodes, and it's another one of my hot chocolate episodes. It's very, very plot light. It's a love letter. This is an actual episode.
Yeah,
but then you have Unification that could be seen as a crossover.
Unification is a crossover. I think
that's true.
You could,
I'm not certain
relics.
Because across, like, Spock is alive at that time. He exists in parallel of TNG. It's not like TOS is running in parallel of TNG and then they do a crossover episode. I think it's kind of a unique episode for that it's two shows that never the most like separated show possible in time and tone and everything that managed to run in parallel and have one episode together. I don't know that it's the same as like the other episode that we call crossovers. But I think it's a very successful episode.
Yeah. Agreed. Let's move on to Subspace Rhapsody and trekking into a musical. Giraffe, what did you think about taking the trek into musicals for Star Trek?
I did not like it. So first of all, I don't like musicals. Like, I mean, I like some musicals, few of them. And most of the time, I don't like the fact that they're singing. It's just, I like the story, I like the plot, I like the characters. I'm more attached to something else than the music. I'm not a musical girl. I love opera, weirdly, but not musicals. Then I like musical episodes, like the Buffy musical episode is a great episode that I watch every year with everybody at San Diego Comic-Con. I like Dr. Horrible, there are a few musical shows that I will enjoy. This one, honestly, I did not enjoy it. I did not enjoy it because it felt forced. the plot was forced to meet the fact that they wanted people to sing. And then I did not like the songs, honestly. Like, I went to sing along for that episode and nobody was fucking singing except like 3 people that vaguely knew the song. So I don't know, they're complex, and also I would not be able to hum any of them right now, top of my head.
Oh, that's
you asked
funny.
me and I'm like, I don't know, they all kind of, I know the title of some of them, like I'm the X, because it's so fucking dumb, so I remember that.
And emo Spock.
I love emo Spock.
Dude, really? A math joke? Oh my god. Like, it's like the meme, find the X. It's here. Like, I hated it. And also, fuck, don't do that with a crew that can sing. Like, I felt bad for, oh, I lost you guys?
No, I'm here.
I'm back.
Nope.
Okay. It's my end is being
Not
very
being funky.
yeah. I can sing for shit, so that is not me judging singing abilities, but I will say that Celia Rose Gooding don't go sing against Celia Rose Gooding. Everybody's gonna sound bad.
Eh.
They're gonna sound okay. And I mean, they should have done that with the disco crew. I will die on that hill, because half of them are Broadway people. You know, they would have delivered. But yeah,
they should have at least, if they had a negative space wedgie already, couldn't they have like dumped like half of the Discovery crew there so we could have, you know, our rent boys and everything?
That would have been really funny.
Hey,
Yeah.
to listen to Anthony Rapp sang something Star Trek related. Let's be honest. I mean, I rewatched it several times. I don't hate it. I just find it okay, and I feel that for the money they threw at it, they could have had better songs. None of that song stuck in my head. None of that song was like, oh, it's cool. All of them were kind of like generic. Like, take Q&A, which is a musical episode in itself, a little bit.
A little bit.
And I know it's not a song that they wrote for the episode, but that moment stands way more to me than any of the moments in that Subspace Rhapsody, because none of it felt really interesting to me for the plot development.
Fair.
That's it.
MC.
Well, as was said in the beginning, I've started to warm up to this to the point that I think I can call it Stockholm Rhapsody now, because I feel like I've been
Enterprise syndrome.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Faith of the heart syndrome. You hear it so much, you start liking it some way.
Exactly. And I mean, Celia's song is so good. I love that. There's a bunch of ones that I don't like. I'm sorry, Ethan Peck. I do not like your song at all.
Love Of the X. I love it.
But I do like the conceit that they had for it. This negative space wedgie that made everybody sing. It makes as much sense as the Buffy one did, where it's like, oops, there's a demon.
There's a
that
demon,
makes
right?
people sing.
A dancing demon. Something isn't right
Yeah,
here.
but it's camp. Yes, but it's camp. And if you do it camp, then it's funny. And then
I think there was camp in this, though. There was K-pop Klingons. That's
This is
camp as
not
hell.
camp.
I think it's
No,
camp.
no, this is not the definition of camp. Forbid you.
It does need to be like turned up a little bit.
Yes.
I would say Chapels is camp, but nobody else's really is.
Okay, real quick, MC, before we go any further, Giraffe does bring up a good point, even though I was jokingly disagreeing with her in the chat. Not everyone is a theater kid, and I get that. Theater kids, a lot of theater kids love this episode, and I would say most theater kids love this episode because we're theater kids. This is for us. But I could understand people that don't like musicals like Giraffe, or just don't like the stage that much, where they're like, well, this sucks. Like, this isn't Star Trek. So I get that argument.
It's not a bad episode. I just feel like when you have only 10 fucking episodes to do,
Right.
and
That's
you want to do that, and most of it is hemping it up because you have a huge theater kid in the audience.
A lot of theater kids.
Lots of it, yeah, you do. And so I'm like, okay, but then you can also add a fucking plot to it, like a little bit more heavy, or go way more camp, or go way more interesting in the plot, which the plot was like, Spock is fucking sad yet the fuck again. So fucking figure. Sorry, MC.
I interrupted MC. Go ahead. I did start it. I did.
I think one of my biggest issues with this episode is, as Giraffe said, there's only 10 episodes in this season. And it's not that I don't think they should have done a musical episode. It's that because they only have 10 episodes, this comes so close after Those Old Scientists. And they're both over the top, like, weird episodes. And it just feels kind of jarring to have them both so close together.
Yeah, I get that. And I think, that's one thing that we might not talk about a lot tonight, but it's a great point because I think one thing that we all agree about season 2 is that the pacing of how the episodes went was really jarring. Really, really jarring. That being said, the minute they announced musical, yes, I'm a fucking theater kid. I've been on the stage. I love going to see musicals. This was for me. I fucking love it. My kids loved it. Caleb hasn't seen the episode probably in a year and just randomly started singing Pike's song in the car. Like, both my kids.
What the fuck is the Pike song?
The one with Battelle, right? This is a private conversation. It's really good. It's fun, and he started singing it. I was here for it. One thing that we need to talk about are those music performances. Giraffe, I know that not a lot of people stack up to Celia, but were there any standouts besides Celia? Or you could talk about Celia too. Standouts and surprises.
I think the only one I remember, and I will be honest that I've not rewatched that episode since last year because I watched it at San Diego Comic-Con, I think. I don't remember where I watched it. I watched it somewhere. So I think last year. Is the only one I remember is Lawns, because I thought it was nice and sad and actually
it's a good song.
helped the character say something that we didn't really see her be able to say. So it was a good development for the character.
Yeah.
Rest. Yeah. I don't know. Sam Kirk kind of dancing cracked me up.
Yeah, with Chapel. Yeah.
Yeah. That is it.
That's fair. Yeah.
The poster is cool.
The poster is cool. Thank you for getting me one, by the way.
Broke San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, it did. It literally did. MC.
I also really liked La'an's song, and I think Rebecca Romaine did a really great job with her song. You can definitely tell that she is a theater kid who has done musicals before. And obviously, I already said that I really loved what Celia did, because, of course, Celia, that's what she does. And the Klingons is what I love, the Klingon K-pop song.
So good. It's so good.
I've been listening to a lot. My boyfriend is really into K-pop, so I've been listening to a lot more. So
I didn't even know it was K-pop until somebody told me, and I think Gene who told me it was K-pop. I thought it was rap, and I was like, it's kind of racist to have like the Klingon rapping. I don't know how I feel about that. Somebody was like, it's K-pop. I was like, okay. I have no clue what this means. I have no fucking understanding of what's going on there. So that's where I was.
I gotta agree with MC. I really like Una's song with Jim about, like, connect to your truth. I love that song. I thought they did a really good job. I like the whole choreography. Like, I love the whole choreography, like Giraffe was talking about, with Sam and the whole entire crew during Chapel's song with a I'm Ready song. Like, that's great. And then, I mean, Celia just, that song is fucking amazing. And then she starts the final number too, which I think is a great ensemble piece. So like I loved it. There are some character insights, right? Like in this episode, La'an is dealing with still her feelings for Jim, right? Spock and Uhura have broken up. Yeah, they've broken up.
Spock and Chapel.
Did I say Spock and Uhura? I'm trying to will that into his existence, I guess.
Well, we don't want them to break up.
No, Spock and Chapel break up. Jim is becoming the first officer of the Farragut. So all of these things, they are in this episode. Giraffe, I kind of know your answer already. You didn't think that it did a good job conveying these.
Well, my problem is that, first of all, it's been 17,000 episodes and hours of my life that I will not get back about Spock and fucking Chapel. So I don't care at this point.
Right.
I would tell you that at that point in the season, I was like, I know exactly what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
And also I have to say that I don't like what they're doing with Chapel's agency.
Mm-hmm.
First, they rob her from any agency. And when finally they give her some agency, it's a bad thing because she's doing her thing and not taking care of her boyfriend. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. I hated how it was done on this episode because I want Chapel to be an intelligent, cool, badass woman. And the way her character goes, it goes back and forth between, oh, I need to be taken care of, to, no, I'm going to be a big girl, I'm going to do my thing, and you're going to cry. And I was like, there's a middle ground. And then Spock went from being an icon of pop culture to just being a boy moping endlessly.
A moody little bitch. Yeah.
After the pussy doesn't get. And I'm just like, go to science, please. Also, their coworker. So I keep having like this weird thing. I don't know. It's weird. It's just weird to me. I think that it was an interesting development maybe for Uhura, but again, not in a way that I wasn't really like, not in an angle that I was really interested about. And yeah, I feel these people don't really need help to tell their emotions to everybody because that's what they've been doing nonstop for 2 seasons. I'm just like, okay, now this thing. I basically can't remember much about this episode, and unless the fact that Chapel gets a huge, great thing in her life and it's depicted as a terrible, terrible thing because the man is unhappy about it, and I didn't like that.
Fair.
There's also the fact that, they break up like 4 times this season.
They do.
Oh my God.
It's true.
For real.
That is very true.
Yeah.
You have subspace. Like, you can stay together and just go do your thing on another planet. Leave me alone. Stop crying.
It's because they're doomed. Like they know it. They know it.
Yeah.
They both know they're hot and they can have this little thing, but they know it's not forever. But as for character insights, I do actually agree that nobody except for, I would say, Pike is really that bad at conveying emotions. Yes, including Spock, because Spock, for all supposed to be, a emotional, constipated Vulcan, is just spewing his emotions everywhere this season. Pike, in his relationship with Batel, there is a little bit of a communications breakdown going on, which is why I think that song on the bridge is one of my favorites. I don't think that Anson Mount is, the best singer of the bunch, but I really do like that song because it's just such an embarrassing moment. And to just bring up the Buffy musical again, because
you have to.
It's always going to be compared to the Buffy musical, and I'm a huge Buffy fan. In that, they kind of did have the same thing where it was like the songs are conveying the emotions of the characters.
Right.
But that made sense because those characters were keeping their emotions all hidden, including this massive secret that Buffy had at the time, that she had actually been in heaven rather than in a hell dimension. But we don't have that kind of thing with the Star Trek crew. part of that might be because they didn't have 6 seasons of 22 episodes to build up all of this baggage. We've only had at this point, I think, 17 episodes?
Yeah, by the time it had aired, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But there are things like there's like the death of Michael. I mean, there's the death of Michael. There is Uhura losing her parents. There is the whole thing with Captain Angel and that like Spock had to do, and all these like unassumed thing going on with his family. There is like a Pike knowing about his death. It's his death, not his death, but sorry, his accident. There's so many things that they're keeping to themselves from each other that they could have used and that come nowhere. Which I would have want to know.
Yeah.
I would have liked to hear about this, but not as fun as not getting pussy.
Hey, one of the songs is about not getting dick.
That's true.
It is very true. Giraffe is not in a minority here, as far as it goes of like not liking the episode. What did you guys think about the fan reception? Because I think, despite the fact that I love it, I know a lot of the collective loved it. The wider Trek audience, it was a very mixed reception, Giraffe.
Well, I think that, you don't have to like every episode. It's fine. I am not necessarily into the fact that they're singing, but I can look at the plot and I could have liked the plot even if they were singing. I just think it's a bit meek and a bit and they rely too much on the singing being fun rather than actually telling a story that I would be interested in. Like, I love Wicked. I like the songs, but I love the story of it.
Right.
My problem is more that people were like, singing, oh, no, I can't, I hate it. It's just like, oh my God, like, get together. Go touch grass.
Go touch grass, yeah.
I think that the reception was all over the place, but it's also because, again, they hemped an episode on a poster, a different intro opening credit.
Yep.
But then it was lacking a little bit, so people were a bit shaky on their or hating it or loving it, and it kind of like you can't have really big feeling about an episode that is okay. I mean, to me it's fine, it's just not my stuff. I think that people are very divided on Strange New World anyway, in general, because of all the changes of tone that this series have had through like 20 episodes. And I think it has thrown a lot of people left and right. So I don't know, I'm not surprised anymore. But it is the series that is the most watched and has the most people watching it. And there's also a lot of people watching Strange New World that have watched no other Star Trek. So that means that their vision of it comes from literally just 20 hours of Star Trek and no comparison. And I'm like, that's great, that's fine. But then it's hard to have greater conversation about what we're doing here with legacy characters. So yeah, I don't know. I don't understand Star Trek fans. Why do you think I'm on a podcast?
I don't either, dude. I don't either.
What they're doing.
No, I don't either. MC.
Not to diminish the episode, but it is a gimmick episode. Mm-hmm. And like I already said, it came very close after another gimmick episode, which was a really fucking good, if not one of the top 5 gimmick episodes that's the entire franchise has ever done. There's a bit of, I'd say, whiplash, I guess, where it's like people are so keyed in on loving those old scientists that to immediately throw the, oh, by the way, here's a musical episode. People are just like, whoa, what's this now? Like, I don't know if I can deal with this right now.
Yeah.
And I know that Star Trek fans should be mature enough to be able to have like 2 big episodes like this. But you know what? That's not how fandoms work.
I took it. I loved both, but again, I will say this time and time again. Going from Lost in Translation to Those Old Scientists to Under the Cloak of Fucking War to a musical and then to the Gorn is like,
it's insane.
You're on a roller coaster. I loved both episodes. I like adored them. They're 2 of my favorite episodes of Trek, but goddamn, like,
it's
what am I supposed to feel this season? Like, yeah.
It's like brushing your teeth and drinking coffee. I like brushing my teeth. I like drinking coffee.
Not at the same time.
One after the other is wild.
That mood switch is like me when I go off my meds.
Yeah. Nice, MC.
Sorry for laughing at this, but you cracked me up.
So that's why I said it.
Yep. Cug writes, gimmicks do work better for a more episodic series like Stranger Worlds than a heavily serialized one like Discovery. Yeah, I would agree with that. It's still the whiplash. I think it's still the whiplash, though. No, I agree with that.
Because like series that have like very heavy arc, like Discovery, when you have one episode in the middle that just take you out of like the giant arc and maybe just a little bit, like Magic to Make the Sentence Man Go Mad.
That's a good point.
Works great.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, when you go from gimmick to gimmick to gimmick to gimmick, you're like, okay, but characters and plot, and why the fuck am I watching this?
Right.
If every season, even Lower Decks, that is very episodic, had an arc, and you were waiting for the next episode to see if they were going to feed you something about that arc. And I think that it's missing a great, like, no, I'm lying. There is a greater arc in Stranger Worlds, just that I don't give a fuck about it. That's my problem. That's not the series problem. But I don't care about the giant arc in Discovery that is, let's get Spock laid. I don't give a fuck. I'm done. But yeah, it's and it creates an even season. And also, I can't imagine for the actors trying to develop the character to only have them exist in crazy fucking situations that have no link to one another. I mean, that must be really hard to develop your character and your you know, how you would react to things when you're just thrown from a comedy, a musical to PTSD dark assassination story to fighting for your life to now you're at a wedding or God knows what, and like, what is it in Charade? Is engagement or what the fuck they're doing?
Meeting the parents. It's Meet the Parents.
Oh my God. Like, it's just like, do that if you have 25 episodes, not 10. It's kind of hard.
Yeah, fair. All right, we talked a lot about the 2, I guess it is fair to call them gimmick episodes. That's what they are, but they were also, I think, 2 of the biggest episodes of the season. We are going to go through character arcs, their spotlights, everything about them. We will start right at the top with Captain Pike, who, listen, it's no secret Anson Mount took maternity leave at the beginning of the season. More power to any parent that takes that paternity leave. I love that he did this, but he does take a bit of a background role this season. You know, as I put it, leadership in the background. What did we think about Pike taking a backseat in season 2, Giraffe?
I won't say I liked it so much. Good for him, but I think maybe it's why the season lacked a little bit of direction or a little bit of guidance. Because what's the Star Trek series without their captain?
Yeah.
So yeah, it went a little bit everywhere, and I mean, I don't want to be done with Pike, especially because he has a plot armor, and I find that very interesting. But I know that it's not the tone also they want to go with, like a man that is facing his own mortality and also knowing your future is a fucked up thing. So, but that's not the tone they want to get. So I don't know. We see more and more Kirk in next season, for example. And I think it's because they're trying to cope out from exploring this because they want to do funny Star Trek. So I don't know. I would have liked him to be more present, but good for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I say we see more Kirk. I've not watched next season. I have to say that because people are gonna be like, "Oh, you're spoiling." I don't know. I've literally watched nothing.
Yeah. MC.
So I think my problem with what they did with Pike, it's not a problem with Anson taking paternity leave, because do you know what? That's totally, he needs to do that. That's something that people should be able to do. But I don't think, if they didn't have Pike available, I don't know if they utilized Una properly.
They didn't.
And if they don't have the captain, they should be using the first officer. And that really disappointed me, that we only had like that one amazing Una episode, and then she just kind of fades into the background. If you don't have your captain, then where is your first officer? Instead, you're throwing in, wacky hijinks with Meet the Parents and this kind of stuff. And I just I don't like that, because I mean, in Star Trek, you always have, like, as much as I complain about them doing the power trio thing, they always have the power trio thing where it's like the captain, the first officer, and usually the doctor.
Yeah. And
I don't feel they've really built that up yet on Strange New Worlds.
Not yet.
It's mostly just, here's Pike and Spock.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, everybody knows how I feel about Anson Mount. Like, I missed him this season. I missed having more of him. Like, I completely agree with Draft. It's really hard to watch a series and not have, like, your captain, like, front and center, right? What he was in was great. I really enjoyed it. I just wished it was more. Yeah. One of the things that was focused on when Pike was focused on during season 2 was this relationship tension with Battelle. He just doesn't know how to be in this relationship, and it ends up in some awkward moments this season. What did we think about that kind of being the focus? Two Starfleet captains of two, I would say, important ships trying to make this work. Draft.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it because I like when Star Trek explores the humanity of their character, but also that they're not just like a cowboy trying to like live at the frontier, pew 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 pew, I liked it in Discovery when they were trying to, develop the relationship between Book and Burnham, and I like it here because it's an adult relationship, and it comes with, having a high pressure job, having stuff to do, having, like life or death matters to decide. And I like the idea that how people doing this can link and not just be, atoms like separated from everybody, like free roaming electrons, And I really like that there was this adult conversation and trying to figure out how to do the thing. The fact that they just like meet their ship in the middle of nowhere is kind of like, I don't know about this. What about shore leave, my man, But I like that better than season 1 Kirksey. Season 1 Pike was just like sleeping with the alien of the week, I like that better. I like that kind of exploration of characters. And I like the fact that like portraying grown-up love stories are an interesting way to also develop the agency of each person.
Yeah.
Battle has an agency. He has an agency. They're not robbed out of. She's not like, I'm not gonna be a captain because I want to be with you. I support that. She loves her job as much as he loves his job, and they are trying to make it work. I do like this. I hope season 3 is not gonna fuck that up.
Yeah.
Really hopeful.
MC.
I like to picture that Pike makes Uhura send a subspace communication that just says "you up."
What you wearing?
send pics.
Anyways, when this relationship first started, It was a really nice friends with benefits situation. And I thought that was really interesting to have these two captains that, like, when we're on shore leave, when we're on the planet together, we're going to have this really nice relationship. And then we're going to go off and we can do whatever we do and we don't need to explain it to one another. But then we do get this evolution in this season. And I actually really enjoy that because friends with benefits relationships can turn into actual relationships, especially when you're in a situation when, say, your face is going to get melted off in 3 years and you're going to end up in a beep chair. You might start to turn to that, colleague that you've had that you hook up with every once in a while and be like, you know what? I really actually care about you. And I like that they're on the same level as one another. This is not a subordinate situation. They are both captains who are dedicated to their jobs and are just like, we want to be together and we're going to figure out a way to actually do it. And it's, I do think they do have the captain problem of, again, I'm going to use the term emotional constipation and not being able to communicate because they do try to be the chair. That is something the captains always try to do. As much as Pike is using everybody's first name and is inviting them over to, I don't know, make pizza
Ribs.
in his
Eat bacon.
He's still the captain and he doesn't want to show that vulnerability. And Patel is probably twice that because we know that Star Trek sexism has not disappeared. So
True.
So I do like the tension between them.
Yeah, the thing that I really like about this relationship and why I've been into it so much is because Pike is making the effort to try and make something work, even if he's doing maybe a kind of piss poor job at it. He's making the effort despite knowing what's going to happen to him, right? I think that he could take I'm just going to, fuck anything I see for the next 7 years because in 7 years, I'm not going to have use of that anymore. And he could do that. And we see that a little bit in season 1, like you guys mentioned. But the fact that he's trying to make a stable relationship work with, let's say, 5.5 years of his life left, that's I think that's really mature. And I really like that. And I like that. I think Kung right in the chat, you think Pike would have mentioned the beep chair to Patel at some point. The fact that maybe she knows that and is also willing to try and make that work despite knowing, what's going to happen to him. So I like it. I like that it's messy. And like Giraffe says, I really hope they don't fuck it up because it's a great story so far.
I think also I didn't like the fact that Pike was like, I'm gonna die in 7 years. You're not gonna die, man. We all okay, we're all, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow when I step out. We can all get into an accident. And the guy is working on a spaceship. Those things happen.
Yeah, right.
And you're like, he's not dying. He's not dead.
Yeah.
And I saw the relationship as a thing of maybe him starting to change his opinion about, being able or being disabled and not seeing that his accident will make him dead.
Right.
But will change his body,
Right.
And all of our body will change one day or another, that we want or that we don't want. This is what is going to happen to all of us. Yes. So I also read that a little bit as a change in the writing of how Pike was seeing his future, and that he was not seeing that as an end, but was something that was going to happen to him. And with the right person also, that could just continue. And I don't think he needs to tell her about the BP chair.
No, I don't think he necessarily does either. If he feels like it's something that he needs to do, then yeah, but I don't think it's 100% necessary.
I mean, it's fucked up to know that your significant other will go through the fucking trauma of having you almost die in a terrible accident.
Right.
And that you knew about it, that you knew you were not going to die and you didn't tell her anything.
Yeah.
But that's another conversation.
I want you to keep going because this kind of leads into what you were just talking about, an emotional change and a writing change for Pike. One of the things that we see at the end of the season is him being put into what could end up being a wartime situation. And that is something that Pike has not been a part of. You know, Enterprise was kept on the sidelines during the Klingon War because of what Admiral Cornwall said, you're the best of us, right? Sorry?
In the Nebula.
Oh,
Have you read that book?
I did not like that book at all. Did not like that book. But, you know, this is going to be a challenge for, like, where do you think he's emotionally headed in season 3? We've seen, you know, like, what has happened. How is he going to, you know, deal with what's happening with the Gorn?
I don't know, honestly. Like, I feel like they kind of played their card already with Pike, and I hope it's not gonna be the mope situation again. And I don't know. I have no idea, because there's so much they're putting Kirk so much in the forefront that I'm just, what are you gonna do with Pike? Is that a man that needs to accept that he's slowly becoming irrelevant? A man that loses his, you know, in his center place into the ship? A man that has to shift his priorities in life? I don't know. Like, is that gonna be Pike midlife crisis? I have no idea. I hope it's smart, because I feel that a lot of men characters are also very often emotionally stunted, and that it's seen as a good thing, and I don't like that. So I like the fact that Pike has to reckon with a lot of things, including what happened in the Quality of Mercy, including of, you know, the fact that he will become obsolete. I think it's something that is terrifying to all of us, especially for men in power. And I hope that they will be able to maybe like show it in an emotionally intelligent way that could help a lot of people deal with it. I mean, I don't know, I'm going for midlife crisis personally and I'm struggling. And I feel that we having characters that are struggling with those questions of, you know, is my significant other gonna die? Am I gonna suffer? Am I going to be relevant? Am I making the good choice? Am I still the best? Am I still the best at what I'm doing? Am I gonna be replaced? Is my crew still believing in me? There's like interesting question to explore. I don't think they're gonna do that, but a girl can dream.
MC?
One thing that I would really love for them to explore emotionally with Pike in a possible wartime situation, and they're not going to do this because it started on another show. I would like them to explore the fact that Pike was angry and kind of guilty over the fact that he missed the Klingon War.
Yeah.
So now that he is on the front lines of this war, I would like to see him, I don't know, maybe understand why Starfleet did that, or feel some sort of, almost panic about now being in this situation. But they're not going to do that because it was on Discovery and they probably don't remember
That's
that
what I was
happened.
gonna say. Yeah, like the thing with control and so on in Discovery kind of already like mimic that, but I have no idea what they're going to go with this thing.
Yeah, fair. All right, we are through with Pike and moving on to Spock.
Say it.
Do you even want to talk about Spock? We could skip
Fucking
Spock.
say it.
We could skip Spock if you want, but
no, we should talk about him at least
Spock.
a bit.
We're going to talk about Spock. This season, for better or for worse, deals a lot with his struggle with identity and emotion. Giraffe, how did you feel about this?
Fucking hated every second of it. I did not find a minute of redemption in all this. And I know it sounds insane, but I feel it's such an absolutely unhinged season when you compare to Spock in season 2 of Discovery, Spock in season 1 of Strange New World, and then whatever the fuck is happening in season 2. You know, we can all have mental breakdown, but I I just feel that what has made Spock such an interesting and beloved character is not that. It's never been that. And if it's been maybe some of that, when you look at Slash, for example, it was more a way to feel liberated with a love that was seen as forbidden in, you know, in the time that Slash fanzines, for example, were written. So I don't get it. I don't get it. Is smart? How do we go from that guy here to TOS to?
I can see how it goes to TOS. Whether it's done well this season, which I think we can agree was kind of meh. I think, you know, I could see where this Spock still ends up being that Spock.
My problem is that people don't like that, but Strange New World is a spin-off of Discovery, which means that the characters that were built in Discovery have this past, that they like it or that they don't like it. And I feel that even in season 1, with, you know, when he shares with La'an the loss of his sister because she lost her brother, and when he shares with Captain Angel this inability to be seen for what he is and not what people think he should be, there were such good moments in building conversation around identity, and then it just became, I don't know, like 1 p.m. soap opera, you know? And I'm just disappointed that it didn't go anywhere, because as Lower Decks has shown, you can do funny that is meaningful. Yeah. You absolutely can make an episode about identity crisis or hating your parents and make it fucking hilarious. Like Rise of Vindicta, like Crisis Point is such an episode about identity and where you fit in your family, but it's also super fucking funny. So there are ways to do it. It's just that they chose a slapstick that doesn't carry enough meaningfulness for the character. And then you reduce your character to, well, and I say it's without thinking, but like a teenager. Teenagers have depth. I work with them every day. But somebody that is just defined by who he wants to fuck and also how he wants to be liked by people. And I feel that it could have been an interesting point for Spock, maybe before Discovery, but not necessarily after. We all have this moment of like searching for who we are and trying to be liked and trying to fit mold. I mean, I've gone through this. We're all gone through this, right? Lying to ourselves, trying to, you know, let people also like throw you around and making fun of who you deeply are because you want to be part of the group. But I feel it's too late in Spock's story to have it now after everything that fucking happens. Like, Such Sweet Sorrow, the end of Such Sweet Sorrow 2 with Michael, who, you know, tells him go towards people. That's what he does, but those guys are suddenly just making fun of him endlessly and trying to make him in something he's not. I don't understand the angle of that show at all on this. And I don't understand making it funny without giving it any depth, because then it's just insulting, you know?
Yeah. MC, how about you?
I haven't made my reference yet, so I am going to use it now. This season with Spock feels like the Kmart version of Star Trek 09.
Okay.
I think that Spock, they could have him explore his emotional side. They could have him explore his romantic side. I think doing it with Chapel was a mistake when they had Layla Kolomi right there. And this was basically, I think this was supposed to be the year that he hooked up with her. Mm-hmm. But, you know, nobody cares about canon, which is fine, whatever. But they didn't need to turn it into a full plot. They could have just done it for an episode. And because it does introduce, like, it becomes overwhelming to both of their characters. I won't go on about that too much. And I just think, because I do think about the Kelvin verse a lot, that there is that. I know, right?
No.
Shocking. I'm shocked that there's gambling going on in this establishment. But there is that wonderful moment where, Spock has been dealing with like his human and Vulcan heritages. And Sarek says to him, I married her because I loved her. Mm-hmm. And almost like giving Spock permission to both have his emotions, but then also still being Spock, because that is the thing that was missing this season. He was not Spock.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
And maybe a couple of times on the bridge, he was kind of resembled Spock. But anytime anything was explored with him, I did not see Spock. And I adore him. So that was such a bummer. And I know Ethan Peck can be really good playing Spock. So it was very disappointing.
And we see a little bit of him with Boimler.
Oh,
that is true.
Like,
are you feeling lucky?
Made my heart sing. Like Spock doing science, being kind of silly with it a little bit, like it may blow up, and like hiding and having this relationship with Boimler. I that's one of the rare moments where I really liked Spock.
Yeah. The relationship with Chapel. I feel like the rest of these questions we have about Spock we could skip because you guys all mentioned them. But I think one thing that we can all agree on, whether I like it or not, does it feel natural or does it feel forced? I know.
Okay, I'm not again, because we know there's something.
Of course,
happened.
yeah.
It is clearly
it is written. It is written. Yeah.
Right. I don't have a problem with fling. Problems with ship? Are you kidding me? They're my bread and butter. I don't have a problem. My problem was it becomes the whole character's thing.
Right.
For literally 2 fucking seasons. And I'm mad about Spock, but I'm really mad about Chapel. Because Strange New World was supposed to be that season where we finally get to explore the women of TOS that got shit nothing for like 3 seasons, like one line here, one line there, I'm pinning after that guy. Oh, my memory got wiped. Like, and I was like, yes, we're gonna finally get a badass woman in STEM. And like Spock is also like science oriented. They could bond over this. No, not even. Like, it's just so empty of meaning when you have 2 great characters that could have a great fling. I'm a Uhura shipper. Everybody knows that. But Uhura is way young in Strange New World. I would have not liked this. Let's put that out there. I'm not here. You should be with Uhura. She's way young in Strange New World. I would have found that a little bit weird. Okay? No, I would have found it totally weird. Let's be honest. But I think that the problem with the Chapel and Spock thing is that it's not fucking interesting. It's not. It doesn't bring anything to the character. They act weird. They have answers that are not adult answers. We are speaking about Pike and Battle. That is how fucking adults got together. You work together. You're in a ship. You're in a situation of crisis. If you fuck, good for you. But you're not gonna be like.
I agree that you say like whenever they talk to each other, it's just awkward and weird. Like that's one thing that absolutely just like doesn't work about it.
And you know what? You can do it for one episode, and then they find a solution, and then they grow and they help each other grow.
Yeah.
Or they have a great thing, and then it becomes a great friendship. I don't know. That we know they have a great friendship. We know this. It's been 20 episodes.
Yeah.
Can we just all go somewhere or stop with it? It's just, oh my God. Like, nobody that I know who's an adult working in a high pressure environment and high careers, because they're also they're professionals. Like, they're like the top of the top. Acts like that for 20 episodes.
Yeah.
So that's my problem, is that you do that thing, it goes somewhere, and then it becomes something, or you stop.
Yeah.
But it's just because they're both hot.
I mean, the whole fucking cast is hot, but like.
I know, but it's just like, oh, we're gonna take the most hot ones and we're gonna get them naked and we're gonna, and I'm like, okay. Also, I don't know where. I understand that Spock is sad. I understood that. What does he learn from it?
Well, and that's kind of going to be our last question. Like, where does Spock land by the end of season 2? But MC, I want you to talk real quick about being natural or forced.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's the wrong term, natural or forced, because it is natural, except for the fact that, or it's not forced, but it is unnatural in that they should not have done it. It was a huge mistake for them to do it. And I swear to God, I'm not saying it just because I dislike the ship. I think that it was such a mistake for Chapel's character because in TOS, the female characters were not treated well. And Chapel's one big defining characteristic is that she had this puppy crush on Spock. And the writers looked at that and said, you know what? I'm going to take this 60s plot and I'm going to make this basically all of her character. And by having them be in a relationship, then it makes TOS look like, oh, so she's an ex who just like can't get over it. Like, what's going on here?
10 years.
Yeah.
10 fucking years. No dick is that good. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Don't be wrong.
they really have not proven to me any reason why it enriches their characters, because we know, because of what little girls are made of and the fact that they cast him in next season, that, you know, Roger Corby is going to happen. So again, like, it's just Chapel being like bounced around to another guy. And it's like I think we got like one episode that dealt with her not dealing with a dude. And
The
also
first episode.
I was actually thinking the Klingon one.
Oh, next.
Okay, 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So that's 2 episodes, because the first episode too, she like transformed them for like.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that I actually just thought was fucking weird.
But she does science at least.
Yeah, she does do some science. And there was something else I was going to say, and it just completely just raced out of my mind. Just
let me know if it comes back, because I wanted to talk about what Draft mentioned. Like, where does Spock land at the end of season 2? Like, does he learn anything from this? Do we think, like, how is this going to carry over again? Kind of like with the Pike question into season 3.
What I think Spock should learn about at
well,
the end of season
do you
2,
think, like, where does he land at the end of season 2? Does he learn anything from any of this?
That's the problem, is that I don't feel that the character is kind of taking anything that happened to him into consideration and moving ahead from his, like, when he has to face the Gorn and, you know, let out emotions, and then Hammer dies and he doesn't know what to do with his emotions, that's still never addressed. There's still no background with this. Like, where does he go from this? Oh, well, he sleeps with Chapel. Okay, then that's somebody that's in emotional distress because he's grieving, and he also had to do something that he really didn't want to do, and now he's like doing this. Okay, that character, what does he learn? Where does he go? Well, we never learn. Then he has this whole conversation with his mother, where he should learn something out of this fucking situation that I hate, but it's still a situation that happened. Still learns nothing about it. It's never addressed. All the crews like, we prefer you when you're not Vulcan. Still has no fucking repercussion, no learning out of this. Where it was like, the only one that actually tries is Chapel. Was like, yeah, that's fucked up. That should not happen to you. And that's no more conversation about this. So it's very 60s Trek, where characters are not bringing any of the defining moments into growth. but just like into repeat trauma and repeat like, ooh, I'm sad, ooh, I'm sad, ooh, I'm sad, ooh, I'm sad. Okay, but when you get sad, at one point you're gonna learn something, or you're gonna, or he's gonna do something to you. And we're never getting there. And at the end of season 2, we still don't fucking know. Like, has Spock grown out of this? Well, he's the ex. Okay. And then what? Then we don't know. And I think that's the main problem with Spock. I would have been more on board with all these things if it had an actual impact on him, showing why he's going to become the Spock that we know. And I think we go from a Spock in Discovery that doesn't want to interact with anybody because he's been hurt so much and he doesn't understand how to interact and why he should interact. And he's scared of like just trying to build bridges, to him losing his sister and her making him go build bridges. And Strange New World should be him building bridges, but all the bridges he's trying to build kind of collapse. When is he going to learn anything? I do not know, because I don't think it's what they want to do with the character, and I'm very sad about it.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah. MC?
Where does Spock land by the end of season 2? Somewhere I don't like him being. I don't like him like this. I want to see Spock. I want to see some actual fallout from Discovery, which I'm not going to get. I want to see Spock interacting with Sarek, with Cybok. It does feel like everything that happened this season for Spock was all tied up in the Chapel plotline. And it's fucking boring. It's Spock, one of the most iconic characters that has ever been on television. Why is he boring me?
Fair.
I may add that I if they're gonna have Kirk a lot, I would like to see him becoming friend with.
It needs to happen. It absolutely needs to happen.
He needs to have a fucking sane relationship with somebody, and I think that somebody is gonna be Kirk, because Kirk understands Spock and respects Spock in how he is and how he does things. Doesn't give him shit. Deeply understand the guy, and I think that would be a absolutely great segue in season 3 if we could have him unlashed from like that, from the Chapel thing, and actually develop a friendship with Kirk and see them getting to know each other and why they became friends. Yeah. That I would love.
Yeah, agreed.
So are you saying that Spock hooks up with Kirk on the rebound?
No. I say become friends. You know what? When you have like a crazy bad like romantic stories that you can't like undo from it, you know what gets you out of it? A good friend.
Yeah.
A good friend will be like, remember who the fuck you are, remember what you stand for, remember the thing you can do, and let's go and let's do this. And I hope Kirk can be that person.
I just have to give the slashers a bone every
once
in a while.
It's not my, I respect you guys. It's just not my thing.
I mean, it's not my thing either, but they need all of the bones they can get.
True.
Let's we talked a lot about her already. We're going to talk about her a little bit more. Chapel, because her, entire arc this season is intertwined with Spock's. Draft, you've already kind of mentioned how it doesn't do a great job, talking about Chapel's career ambitions a little bit with each fellowship versus her personal life. How do you think the season handled that?
I did not like it. I think that maybe one of the episodes I really didn't like, but I think was good maybe for Chapel, was Under the Clock of War, because we see that she has a fucking past and actually knows how to do things and actually exist out of the confine of Spock. I would like her to be more like, maybe not Tilly, but yeah, somebody that like brings mad science to the to the mix, because she is a skilled genetician. I think they tell us that the first episode, they give us like a little bit of her background, and she's like versed in like genetics and stuff. And I'm like, let her like be the crazy scientist to Mbenga, or maybe the voice of reason when Mbenga becomes the mad scientist, something like this. I think they could have a good duo, and I really liked Mbenga and Chappelle together.
Me too,
That's one
quite
of
a bit.
That's one of the things I liked on this episode. I felt that it was an interesting duo to have, just because of their different point of view, and you know how much she knows him. We never know if she knows about his daughter. Like, you remember? He had a daughter that died, and then we never spoke about it again.
Episodic television, or
Yeah. But I think that there is great. You know how Janeway inspired so many women to become like scientists? Chapel could inspire a lot of girl and women to, you know, go towards medicine. They just do nothing about with her. They just make her a piece of ass. And I mean, Jess Bush is hot. I will, like, thank you, Lord, thank you, everything. But you know what would be hotter? If she were fucking smart.
Yeah.
I'd be like into this. I miss having badass women doing badass science and badass sci-fi television. Like, you know, I would like her to get into that role and not be just closeted into that. Into that. I'm pinning for Spock. Also, you remember she's supposed to be bisexual? Oh yeah.
That's the thing I was going to mention.
Go ahead. This is your floor.
Yes, that is the thing that I was actually going to mention. So I'm so glad that you did. Yes, they had this mention of Chapel being bisexual in season 1, and it was so subtle that I know there's a bunch of people who didn't fucking catch it. So
it's there, though. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
no, it's there, but if
I'm agreeing with you.
If people miss it, then it's not fucking obvious enough. It's not. Okay. No, I'm sorry.
She's getting overwhelmed. Go ahead.
Bisexuals are completely allowed to be in so-called straight passing relationships. That happens. You know, it's if you're bisexual, that, you know, might happen half the time. Math. The thing is, if you have no other regular queer characters, don't mention Captain Angel, because Captain Angel was only in 1 episode and they didn't bring her back. There's no other queer characters on the show, and you can't just point at Chapel and be like, look, we have a bisexual character, and just every time you see her, she's just going after Spock. And we know that it was mentioned in this season that, oh, she's going to go off to a fellowship with Roger Corby, which I don't love, that she's going off to work with the person who's going to become her fiance.
But you forget that she's promiscuous.
And also, yeah, the promiscuous bisexual, love that that's still a thing.
And that she was so promiscuous that she starts going after Spock because the man can't lie. And she feels that it's going to be such a great relationship because he can't fucking lie to her. I hate that episode so bad.
We watched that episode together, and then you drove me to the airport, and I remember we were both sitting there for like 10 minutes going, it's like, I don't know how we feel about this.
Again, Star Trek got a Peabody. I know that they don't have to have everybody being an example, but fuck, that's such a bad example. Like, I'm like,
I think that as a queer woman, it made me very sad that they gave us cursory representation and then had absolutely no interest in actually doing anything with it. It's frankly, how do I put this?
antiquated.
Well, it is antiquated, but it is it's embarrassing for Star Trek, considering everything that they've done with Discovery and Lower Decks. You guys are better than this.
Fair. Damn. MC, I was gonna keep going. Are you good? Are you
I'm fine. I just needed to cough for a minute.
okay?
And as for her career ambitions versus her personal life, I feel we didn't get a whole lot with her career ambitions, past the fact that she did decide to sign up for this fellowship. And I think that she wouldn't have decided to go on the fellowship had she not had that whole talk with Boimler and found out that she and Spock had an end date, that it was so insignificant to Spock's life that it doesn't get mentioned in anything about Spock. Even his pet Sella gets more airtime than she does.
Yeah. One thing, Draft, that you mentioned already is, the fact that we do get the bit of backstory with M'Benga, in both Broken Circle, which again is not a great episode. But then, serving
Okay, which one is Broken Circle?
the premiere of season 2, where they take the drug and go wild on Klingons.
Oh my God, I forgot about that episode.
Yeah.
See, I mix it with Under the Cloak of War.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mix them both.
But we get a good amount of moments with them together, both in Broken Circle and Under the Cloak of War. How much did we, like seeing that relationship grow a little bit? It's a nice break from the Spock Chapel stuff.
Sorry?
How much did you like seeing the M'Benga Chapel?
I like M'Benga Chapel. I like it. I do, because I feel that, the medical, I love the medical drama in Star Trek. I would love this. And I think that, having two people in the med bay is very TOS. And again, Chappelle got nothing to do, and like some representation for nurses. I mean, we have in TNG, what's the name of the nurse?
Nurse Ogawa.
Yeah, who gets killed, right?
No,
she survives.
Okay.
She's alive.
She's alive. And in Lower Deck we have Nurse Westlake, which are very secondary character, but are still like characters that we remember. And if you've been once in your life in a hospital, you know that it's not all doctors in there. And I come from a long line of nurses that I betrayed by becoming a teacher, but there's 4 generations of nurses before me. And I was excited for a nurse, doing medical stuff. That would be great. So I love having her with M'Benga. I like the fact that they're field doctors and that, Starfleet had to go, very DS9, like Starfleet going through war and having all these people that want to do exploration and end up having to patch people that are cut by Klingon Batleth. I think it's an interesting plot. I don't care about their like superhuman drugs. I think it was dumb, personally.
Oh, I hated it. I thought
serum, like, thank you. Leave it that to Marvel. It was dumb in Marvel. It is dumb here too. Thank you. But because you know what? Like, field doctors that are like in the front line in the war, they don't have super serums and they still do an amazing job. And I thought it could have been such an interesting stand for Star Trek, because we see it with Julian Bashir a little bit in the Dominion, right? And I thought it was, they could do that, and that would be something I would be really interested in. But we get just a glimpse, and it's all to serve an other plot again, like the superhuman serum that goes nowhere and is never introduced in first episode and then never talked about it again. And then in the Cloak of War, it's all the point of making like M'Benga also again something else. There's always this thing like, they're a doctor and a nurse, and they had to work in war-torn planets in terrible situation. But then that's not the most exciting thing. You know what? There's a super serum. You know what? He used to be Black Ops. And like, I'm just like, oh my God. There's sometime not simple plot, but deeper plot, and having the humanity of your character can be an interesting thing. And I think that them two can have a very interesting thing going on. In the Clock of War, like, you know, them talking about people who don't understand the thing they have gone through was beautiful part of the episode. I hated the Black Op assassin thing, but I liked that part a lot. And again, I think we're like making this character a bit too dimensional in going into weird sci-fi tropes that Star Trek Star Trek has enough weird sci-fi trope. We don't need more. But yeah, I would really like them to explore more of their past together, how they know each other. I mean, we know that Mbenga speaks Vulcan and has studied in Vulcan, that she wanted to go study in the Vulcan thing, you know. And there are things where Sonequa Martin Green was speaking about like mentorship between Captain Burnham and what's the name of the other captain in Discovery Season 5? I'm half brain.
Oh, Raynor, Captain Raynor.
Yeah. And, you know, she was speaking about like this men and women mentorship being, you know, a fathership and a mothership, like having like being mentors to each other, even if you're like great both in your career and having still this ability to learn from each other. And I think Mbenga and Shepard could have that relationship that we see in Discovery between them two. And that could be super interesting. But again, there's no but in it and nobody's getting laid. So I suppose that nobody's interested in this.
I am.
But I would love that.
MC, how about you?
Yeah. Even though they're both very attractive people and they could just do a story with very attractive people who are just friends with one another and, you know, are working together. And there are approximately 1.5 million medical shows on television right now. So I feel like there are plenty of plots they could do that are purely medical. And I would love to see that with them. I do love their friendship. I just don't love all of the stuff they do with them. The super serum thing, that was dumb as hell. I can't believe that they did that. I mean, I can. Star Trek does really stupid stuff sometimes.
It's Trestle White.
It's so dumb and just against, like, because it does have like a genetic engineering whiff to it, and things are. They did a whole courtroom episode about that. So
yes, but when it benefits Starfleet,
that's true. And under the Cloak of War, I was kind of middling on that episode, but I did enjoy the backstory between them. I liked their relationship being built up, and it's clear that outside of Spock, Mbenga is the person that Chapel is closest to. And I would actually say that Chapel is closer to Mbenga than she is Spock.
Oh, 100%. I don't think there's a question about that. Yeah. Yeah.
Because she actually trusts Mbenga to like talk about the things that she wants to do for her career and even in her personal life. And I think that it's a more mature relationship. And I'm not saying I ship it because I don't.
Oh, no,
I think that it's fine to just be friends
totally
and colleagues.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I really like it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I actually, besides the super serum stuff and not relatively like liking that episode, I really liked all the dialogue between Chapel and Mbenga in Broken Circle. I like that, like, it's hinted that they've been through some really crazy shit together. Besides just on Jagal. I really like that. I like everything. I was a big fan of Under the Cloak of War. I think it's an excellent episode. I thought exploring them was really well done there as well. Again, do we need to see more medical stuff on the show? Yes. But I think they're getting there, and I hope that we get more of it in season 3. I was going to talk about chemistry with Spock, but we already did that. So we're going to move on to La'an, Noonien, Singh, and talk about what I think is an episode that we all really enjoyed. Time travel in Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. What did we think about La'an in this episode, Giraffe?
I really like this episode. It has Romulans in it.
Yes, it does.
Canadian Romulans.
Canadian Romulans.
I know a lot of people didn't like that episode because of all the can thing, and I'm like, whatever.
It was so good.
It was a great episode. First of all, I love the music of that episode. Like the score, like that nostalgic and kind of aching theme that Lan has every time she has these memory of Kirk. Oh, will make me cry. I think it's a great episode. I like the humor, but with meaning. It was funny at points, but there was also tension and was suspense. Yeah, it's a bit of like, will they, won't they? But you're like, I do him in the same situation. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't? But I think it was well brought. I love the fact that it's in Canada and not yet again, in New York or LA. I love the fact that it was like, adding a little bit to the lore of Canada in Star Trek.
You mean giving us some at all?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, it's France got one captain. It's not even French. So I really like that episode. I think it was a great way to explore the deeper emotional levels of a character that doesn't want to have any for very fucking good reasons. And I think it was it was well brought from season 1 when we see she seems to have a relationship with Mbenga in the first episode, and then we
don't hear anything about it. Yeah,
the whole thing with the
they do it to each other in the premiere, but it doesn't like mean anything in this of season 2.
Like,
yeah,
okay, so we never get to know what hell is going on with them too. I like the exploration of Lan. I think she's a character that should get more exploration, especially because I think that she has an interesting dilemma with who she is and how she's going around in the world. I said that, and now I hope they don't do it because they will most probably fuck that up. So don't touch Lan. Tomorrow was great. Loved it. Also, the time agent.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the fashion.
So good.
I loved her. Anyway, that's great episode. It's one of the rare episodes I rewatched.
Yeah, it's so good. MC.
I think the only thing missing from this episode for me is when Kirk accidentally turns on the radio in the car. It should have been playing Sabotage.
I'm
sorry, there's my second one.
Yeah.
Wait, but what is it playing?
It's like a random song that remember
no, it has a significance.
It does. No, it does. Matt Capacci told us about it when we interviewed him on the pod, like choosing that song. I forget what the significance is.
I remember. Yeah, I don't remember it either. But also him going backward, like reverse in the car, is a reference to the piece of the action.
Nice.
Oh, I love
this is such a wonderful episode. This is Star Trek romance that I really like.
Yeah.
La'an had an entire season of being an incredibly cold character. She was more Spock than Spock. And this episode, where you have her emotions kind of get broken down and have this connection with Kirk, is beautiful. And it's so nice to have this single episode. This is, I would say, very much kind of a callback, call forward to City on the Edge of Forever.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's one of the greatest Star Trek episodes ever. So I think that this is one of my favorite episodes of the season. And I absolutely adore it.
Yeah. Same. Dry hot dogs aside. Christina Chong does such a great job as La'an in this. I think that her and Paul Wesley just had incredible chemistry, right? Like, and not to, we're going to talk about Jim in a second, but I think that Paul Wesley really comes out of his shell in this episode. I think it's a great exploration of how the Prime timeline is always changing and how like La'an, despite knowing exactly who Khan is, does just realize that at some point we're all just kids, right? Like she's not going to kill a fucking innocent child. Like it's such a great moment where she's like,
does give him a gun.
yeah, she does. Yeah, she does. But I love that moment where she's like, you're exactly where you need to be. She does such a killer job in this. And I know like people have been weird about how she acts about when Jim gets shot and how it like she does, like people thought she underacted the scene. I'm like, no, dude, she's in shock. She's in shock. She's like in the past, and someone that she might have like been falling in love with just got shot before her eyes. Like she's fucking going through things. Like I don't know how I would have reacted in that moment. I think it's a great acted episode by both of them. We talked about how La'an was very isolated in season 1 and for parts of season 2, but she does start to take some slow steps forward in this season. What did you think about that, Trev?
I liked it. Again, it's one of the rare songs I actually liked in even if I can't sing it or I don't remember what it's called. It's one of the rare songs I liked in the musical because I'm invested in the emotional growth and dilemma of this character. We've all been like heart crushing for somebody that can't be available. And I like how she goes around it. I think it's very mature, it's very adult, but she's going for shit. And she's also somebody that doesn't talk to other people about what she's going through. So it's hard for her. And I like that. I really like the emotional growth of La'an. And it started in actually season 1 when she shares the mind melt with Spock. And I think she's one of the most interesting character being developed in Strange New Worlds, because it's done not too much here and there, and in a way that makes sense for an actual human. So I'm here for it.
Yeah. MC.
La'an, I think, has the greatest character arc of all of the Strange New Worlds characters so far, because it is this. She's got this personal thing that's going on with her trying to connect with other people, her issues with being genetically augmented, and the story with the Gorn. All of these kind of go together, but aren't overwhelming one another. She feels the most varied, and I really like that because it means that she's coming alive so much more than any of the other characters.
Yeah. Yum Yum Pod writes a good point. Her during Una's trial was very interesting stuff too. They had an interesting dynamic, and I wish that was explored more. Yeah, we get their dynamic in season 1. I was going to say, but I don't even think we're going to talk about it because they don't interact that much in season 2. Besides, La'an trying to figure out if like she's still feeling guilty about like how she felt towards finding out Una was an augment, So
she, in Illyrian.
In Illyrian. In Illyrian.
I think that it could be interesting, but they're not going there because it's not it's not the bread and butter. They do it here and there, and it's because La'an had a romantic relationship with one of the lead cast, and then it gets to happen. But like those relationship between non-lead cast are like very fast ignored and kind of like put aside, which is so sad because we also have Una and Ortega's that is an interesting relationship that almost not explored at all, and Benga and Chappelle, and these are the relationship that I think are done well because we're not beaten over with a stick about it.
Yeah.
And so they're good, but also they're not explored too much.
Yeah. Let's talk about we're going to move on to Uhura because I think we covered La'an and even her connection with it. It was basically Kirk in this season. Let's talk about Uhura and, how this season kind of deals with the aftermath of Hemmer's death and, him being her mentor and how she kind of goes through that throughout the season. What do we think about Uhura in season 2, Giraffe?
Well, I really like... Okay, I'm trying to formulate this so I don't sound insane. My problem is that Strange New World only have Uhura have relationship with dead people. And it's always about her loss and her grief and people around her dying. And I'm like, read the fucking room, Strange New World. Read the room. And you know, you often hear people speak about Black Joy and how it's very often not portrayed or too rarely portrayed. It's always like, you know, being in loss and being in grief and doing in things. And as much as I find it very interesting for Uhura, because I think her relationship to Hammer was one of the most interesting things they did in season 1, I found that fascinating. And I really like their relationship and how they talked. Yet she has to be traumatized by his death, when we know that already in season 1, she's traumatized by the death of her parents. Yeah, so she gets to be traumatized by another death, and then she gets to be haunted by that death to be able to explain something. And I'm just like, ooh, when are we gonna get something that, you know, makes her not related to something in the grave? And I'm not certain that we get a lot. I love her in this old scientist with Mariner. I think that was one of the most beautiful moments she had the whole season. But then I don't know.
I thought I thought the all of Lost in Translation was very good.
Yeah, for sure. Like, again, that's not my favorite episode, but is it character development?
I would think so.
In what way?
That's a good question. I'd have to like go and watch the episode again, but like I think it is.
Like, what she understands something that is going on, and she
breaks Kurt's nose.
She does break Kurt's nose.
She's like Ortega. She says 15,000 times that she keeps everybody connected, so that's her job. And I'm just like, okay. But do we learn anything about her new? Do we see her do something she has not done yet? She has sang to save the crew. She has kept them connected. She maybe gets a more, like, people see her more in the crew for, you know, Uhura being the future communication officer. And I liked her relationship with Kirk. Same, that's a relationship I'm looking forward to. If you need to have Kirk in there, have him develop character with the legacy characters so we know where it comes from. But that's it. And I don't know, again, many friends have been open about Uhura and they're not going through. I think first season did a great job at having, like, you know, that young like hopeful kind of like figuring out her place in the ship, which happens with the Subspace Rhapsody. That's when she realized that she's meant for the communication role, which, okay, it's character growth, I suppose. But then what do we do with this? Where do we go from there? And I you know, I will be here for anything Uhura ever. But if you ask me what's going to happen in next season, well, we went from a young woman that doesn't know what she wants, is scared to commit, is scared to like take a decision to be in Starfleet because everything that happened to her discovering one by one all the part of the ships and losing a mentor, and then being, okay, I know what I want to do. I want to keep us all connected because you all matter to me. Okay, where do we go from there? And I have no clue. I'm here for it. I'm super here for it. But where do we go from there? I have no clue.
Fair. Yeah. MC?
I like Lost in Translation a lot. And I really do like Uhura's plot in Those Old Scientists and Subspace Rhapsody. But I know what Giraffe is talking about. I feel like, considering she's a legacy character, and not only a legacy character, but an icon, Uhura is so badly served on the show. I would love to see more from the character than kind of her just sitting on the bridge doing the communications. That
I mean, she's been on away missions. I don't know. I think she has.
She has. It's always going to come back to the 10 episodes really does not serve the characters very well. I feel like there's still so much of this character that has been unexplored. And I do think that, yeah, she's had, I would say, 3 spotlight episodes, and 2 of them directly deal with loss.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is the musical episode, which has to do with her job. So I can understand wanting to delve deeper with Uhura.
Can I say that if they put her in a relationship with Scotty, I will fucking riot.
I will rage quit.
I don't think that they'll do that, but I mean, who knows? That would be wild. And
no. I didn't think that they were going to put Spock and Chapel together. So,
because we know that in the movies, they were like hinting at it for God knows the fuck why. I just don't want her in a relationship just to be one more like fucking ship. I'm tired. Tired. Julian, I am tired.
Yes, writers, we don't need you to go wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah, we've watched the movies.
You guys covered everything in the questions I had for her, so we will move right along to Ortega's. At a question I think we could all answer a resounding yes to. Still underserved.
Yes, apps fucking yes.
Ortega's?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, as we were saying earlier, like the Amnesia episode is not a character episode.
It's like she has great moments in that episode, but they're not like, they don't do anything for, like we've been talking about, like they don't do anything for her character.
No, and I mean, and she's not a legacy character, so we don't know anything about that character. And we're like, can we get something? I mean, we know that in season 3 she'll have some development, but it's through like what the trailer says, right? But I don't know. I'm like kind of on the fence about it. I want something about her. Yeah. I mean, we know that Uhura is going to be in some kind of relationship through the trailers, right?
Maybe.
It looks there's some sort of flirtation going on.
There's some sort of flirtation going on. Okay. So, but it's not Scotty, so I'm okay with it. Ortega's, I think, I don't know. There's too many, let's be honest, there's too many characters in that show. That's 10 episodes is like not enough. You need like Voyager level of number of episodes to be able to develop all that cast.
Yeah, but we're never going to get that.
I think even if you got 14, like you would be able to cover all the characters.
And you get, if we get one episode that deals with Ortega's, to be honest, I'd like to know something else than Ortega's fly the ship.
Right.
I think again, like having inspiration for people to go into, piloting and like space industry would be great. But I have no clue where they're going with it. Honestly,
yeah, they make a huge.
I'd love to see more Melissa Navia because she's extraordinary and really cool. But yeah, let's see. No clue.
Yeah, they make a crowning moment of awesome out of the one thing we actually know about Eric Ortega.
Right. There was a lot of fan response and hope, right? Like for getting an actual Ortega's episode in season 3. From everything everybody is saying, it sounds like we're finally going to get that. I talk about it in my review, my spoiler-free review. There are some great Ortega's moments coming in season 3. So that's good. It's more than we've gotten. So if you want to read that, you can go read it on our blog now. But it's cool because we did get a novel. It's cool, but it also sucks that we've gotten more about Erica's backstory in Toward the Night than we've gotten an episode. But I think it's still pretty cool that we got that book and that focus.
But are they gonna honor that? Are the books canon?
Yes.
From what I James Swallow kind of mentioned yes, and also from what I understand, these books are meant to be canon. So
Until the writers decide something.
until the
they're
writers,
not.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anything on that? No. Good.
I think part of that problem is the filming seasons before the first one has come out, because they didn't know what the response to Ortegas was going to be, and people were making cries for Ortegas from season 1, but they couldn't course correct because they'd already filmed season 2, and that's the same problem with season 2. They're not going to be able to course correct from season 2 because they were already doing season 3, were they?
No, they
And
weren't.
then
No,
they
they weren't already doing season 3.
Oh.
Season 3, they
But
were able to course correct.
It was during the strike, but like season 4 is like already midpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting the money before the merger. Let's be honest.
Fair, yeah.
Do we want to talk about? Let's talk about not Under the Cloak of Warford. We're going to move on to Mbenga being the defining episode, but like we learn about like both his and Chapel's. It's like PTSD, the morality of what we find out about him in Under the Cloak of War, the weight of that violence draft. What did you think about everything we learned about Mbenga in season 2?
That's a loaded question. I like the fact that we explore his past. I hate the fact that we make him somebody violent. Because I don't know. I think I've talked about it. I don't remember if I reviewed that episode. I don't think I did, but
you didn't.
I think that you know what? We don't need TV choosing the sole black man on the show to be a violent assassin. I think it was poorly chosen. I think that, again, I know it's supposed to be the future, but also it's a product of its era. And I know that they wanted to use his ability to kick ass because he has like a black belt in jiu-jitsu or something like that, right? Am I wrong?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. But also, I think that having, Mbenga in TOS was a black man that was kind and knowledgeable and kind, and was here to help. He was a welcome respite because Bones was always harassing Spock, and Mbenga knew Vulcan could help Spock, was a friend, and he was a welcome, calm, and just overall tender kind of person around. And I kind of am very disappointed that they chose to make him a violent assassin and a butcher even, because I'm like, you know what? You had the opportunity to do something different and to do something that was impactful, and we come back to the impact of Star Trek on the audience. And again, the Star Trek that we're doing now is not for us, it's for next generations, and that's important. Like, I grew up on TOS, and it was not it was not Star Trek of my era. A lot of and I think that always having the opportunity to change the narrative in sci-fi show, one of the sole show that is utopic right now in TV, where we only have dystopia left and right, and we're living in dystopia too. I think they had just the opportunity to do something that was inspiring to something else, and they chose to go very Marvel or basic sci-fi that we see everywhere on TV. And I'm just sad that, there was no way to beat the narrative yet again. That's inability to beat the narrative that we're fed again and again and again and again. And I'm just sad. It just makes me sad. Also, my parents were field doctors. My dad was a black guy, and I'm not surprised. I'm just disappointed that we're never able to get out of this trope, and that's sad to me. I know the episode works, and I know that it's important to speak about PTSD, but I'm just sad to not see progress in my lifetime. It's kind of fucking depressing. So yeah, I've stopped hoping about that show. That's the problem. I think that season 2 just broke me in the idea that I'm like, it's gonna be basic fucking TV, and I'm gonna go with it because that's the story that I will get in my lifetime, and I'm not inspired, and I'm not being pushed to see a better future and to see a different narrative and to see hope and to build something different, and that's really fucking disheartening.
I don't know. My argument with this always is that I feel like there's not anything wrong with sometimes just having basic television. Like, I don't need every single series that I watch to like have to have like a deeper meaning and like make me grow. Sometimes I just want to escape, you know?
It's not a different it's not having a deeper meaning. It's just showing something different. I'm not saying be always philosophical and like I like dumb shit. I watch a lot of dumb fucking shit. Like but I feel that again, every single show that we're watching now is this topic, except of All Mankind.
I mean, For All Mankind might kind of be getting there, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but let me hope, okay?
Right.
For All Mankind and Star Trek, do we have any other show on TV right now that is giving us the hope of a brighter future? Please prove me wrong, but I feel that all sci-fi show are all depicting a horrible fucking future, and everything is like, and I love The Expanse, fucking love The Expanse, but that's fucking dream. You know, and I miss the opportunity to watch TV and to see something different than what is going on right now around me, and to be like, hey, you know what, I'm inspired, not necessarily brainiac and thinking about life and death, but just being, hey, you know what, there's a black guy on TV that is a positive and kind and tender and loving, and somebody who takes care of everybody, somebody who is knowledgeable. And I'm like, fuck, I love that. I'd have to see that. Well, no, he's also the butcher of Chagall, and he's going to murder people because he has PTSD. And I'm like, oh God, okay, that took a left turn. I mean, and it's again, representation fucking matters. It does matter. It does matter. And I think that if one show could just choose to just beat the narrative here and there, it should be Star Trek. They're not doing it, and I can't do anything because I'm not fucking running the show, and I don't have billions of dollars, and I'm not even writing it. But I think Discovery tried to beat the narrative and just propose to the viewers something different on TV. And Star Trek got a Peabody, not because they're doing basic TV and always like feeding us the same fucking imagery, but because once and there, they dared to dream and like propose to us a different vision. Cisco and Janeway were beating the narrative. They were showing on TV somebody different than what TV was always feeding us. Some people that actually exist, that are here to be helpers and to be positive influence on life. And you know what? I fucking miss that on TV. I would really like that every so and then. And if even Star Trek is not doing it, what the fuck is gonna do it? Who is gonna do it? Who? Not The Expanse. Even if like they have great characters in The Expanse. I don't say that, but sometimes I just want to dream to a better future. Can I? I know we're doomed, but let me fucking dream. Star Trek, help me dream.
I don't know. Star Trek makes me dream. Strange New Worlds doesn't make me dream, but Strange New Worlds makes me happy. Like, it just lets me get away. And I think that's like what I need right now. And you know what I mean? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, but you can get away with, not having a black guy being a murderer. I say, like, it's fine to have the same storyline or like something, but just, I don't know, it's the only guy. Now he's also a murderer. And very soon it's like, and he left his, well, he let his kid die.
Well, the kid doesn't die, though.
Yeah, I know. But, we had like, for a minute, like somebody that was kind of a Cisco-esque character. And then they were like, fuck no. And we know how much Cisco inspired people and how much it gave an example and a drive for people to be better fathers or better leaders or even, dare to dream something else. He's still an icon for a lot of people. And
yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, that's yes, 100% on Cisco. Yeah. MC, sorry, we were arguing. Go ahead.
It is okay. I was going to say that I kind of exist right in the middle here where I can understand both sides of the argument here, where Giraffe is coming from and where you are coming from. I can understand where you would like this episode. This is a put together episode. But then I can also see that there is some incredibly nasty implications with what they've done with Mbenga. And frankly, I think that the whole plot of he's a doctor, he's a healer, but he's got this dark past is really kind of stereotypical, and it's tired. You can do an episode about PTSD in a war with doctors without having him killing people. Doctors see terrible stuff in wars.
Yeah, I spent my whole childhood hearing my father having fucking nightmare and screaming in his sleep. And he was not the butcher of Dragal. I hope so. But yeah, believe me, PTSD was real and was untreated in the 80s. Let's go.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite Deep Space Nine episodes is Nor the Battle Strong. And I think that kind of episode you could have gone darker with it and really gotten into what Mbenga and Chapel were going through. And I think I would have really liked that more.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on. We still have a few characters to go through, and we are going very late tonight. To Una, number 1. We get a great episode in Ad Astra per Aspera. It's the resolution to the Illyrian reveal in episode 3 of season 1. We find out in Ad Astra per Aspera that she turns herself in. What did we think about the resolution in this trial episode, Giraffe?
I liked it. It's too bad that then we got no more Una. They gave us everything they could in the first episode, and they were like, we're done. No, I really like that episode. I know the law makes no sense. I mean, there are things here and there that, like, were kind of like too easy for me in that episode, but yeah, it's a great episode. I don't like Star Trek Jag usually. I'm not such a fan of like court drama, but I thought that it was interesting to kind of explore the question of the Illyrian. After that, I was very happy that the lawyer was a black woman, because I was like, if it's all about segregation and it's a white girl in the seat, I'm gonna be a bit on the fence about it. But I like the fact that I'm blanking on her name right now, but help me.
Catul, right?
I believe so, yeah.
The actress.
God, we interviewed her.
Yes, you interviewed her. Yeah,
Yetide Bataki.
Yeah, Yetide Bataki. Yeah,
Yetide Bataki. Thank you. Again, I'm half dead. I doing this on my last neuron.
You're doing fantastic, Giraffe.
No, I'm not, but thank you. I'm struggling. I'm struggling to put an idea out. I really liked Yetide Badaki in that episode. I think that she had the right amount of anger, and also the right amount. I'm fucking done with you all.
And at the end of the episode, still kind of being done with them all, right?
Yeah, and I mean, what is it? What's what Cisco says? Like, being polite never got me anything.
Pretty, yeah,
isn't it like in Far Beyond the Stars? Anger gets you things. Sometimes it's important to be fucking angry. Like, people should be, when I say it's an episode where people should like be panicking way more, sometimes people should be angrier. And I really like that in this episode there was a healthy level of anger from the lawyer, which I think brought to this episode a little bit of, for me, I related to it. I think if nobody were angry in that episode, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
But I loved her character, and I think that she brought so much dimension to that episode. So much. I know the law is not good. We did an
It's
episode
not,
about
but it's
it,
still.
but I don't care because I don't understand anything about the law. So
It's still a really good episode, though.
just a baby.
Yeah.
I liked it. And I like the fact that Una gets the relief of like knowing that it's not all for nothing, that she's not going to be buried in history, because so many of those characters and so many of those people who fought for, more justice or the ability to be present were just buried, like erased and like put in on the side. And I think that's what Una really is scared of, is that she's back, but also she will be erased. And that's what we all think about, right? Because Una is nowhere in TOS. So we're like, I mean, except the cage, but we're like, oh, she is going to get buried. She is going to be put aside. And then Boimler comes in.
You're on the fucking poster.
On the fucking poster. And even if it takes like a few centuries, I think that that's beautiful to know redemption, to know that you will become somebody important in the future for a lot of people. I think a lot of historical people, like activists, never got to know how much they mean to people in the future, and that's sad because they mattered and they changed things, and now like people have like posters of them or have their quote on their t-shirts, and they never got to know.
Yep.
Una does.
She does.
Big up, Una.
MC.
I love a courtroom episode. And yeah, the law is very sketchy in this one, but it's so wonderful. And I believe that this is the first episode that we really got to see like everybody in their fancy stuff.
The uniforms are gorgeous.
They were so nice looking. And I know I was complaining about not having any queer representation, but it's so clear to me that Una and Nira are exes and possibly getting back together. So, let me have this.
I adore this episode. I have the poster of it on my wall from JJ Lindell, who's an amazing artist, by the way. Rebecca Romaine does such a fantastic job. It's unfortunate that she gets virtually nothing else to do the remainder of the season. It's just,
so true.
It's facts. But what she gets here, I mean, is it enough? No, but it is still great. Absolutely. The whole episode, everyone just does an incredible job. And you're talking about the music earlier in Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I thought that Nami did a great job with the score for this episode as well. Let's move on to none other than Mr. James T. Kirk.
Who's left? Oh my god.
We got two more. We got two more. And these were late additions to the outline. I was like, we probably need to talk about them. Paul Wesley's performance, very quickly. Improved reception from season 1, I think, in season 2. Yeah, Giraffe?
Yeah. I mean, I know people hate Kirk for some fucking reason. I like Kirk.
Me too.
I like that Kirk is also a character that a lot of Trekkie don't know because they operate through like maybe movie Kirk. I don't know, but in TOS, like the Kirk we get to know is really, or maybe they mix him up with Shatner. Which
Unfortunate. Yeah.
But Kirk is such a fantastic character. I really like, again, the opportunity to explore that character more. I know it's not TOS. I know he's not supposed to be. I don't care. I don't care. Okay. They can't go 5 seasons without adding some of the link to TOS, and that's good. That is good. I think Paul Wesley does a good job. I know people are gonna hate me for that, but I think he's cool. I really like Kirk.
Dude, I love him so much, and I think Paul Wesley does a fantastic fucking job.
And I was super on the fence at the beginning because I usually don't know, but I think he was fantastic in Equality of Mercy, which is one of my top Star Trek episodes ever. And I like to see him as like Agent of Chaos. I like to see his relationship with his brother. I like to see his relationship with the other members of the crew like become. I think he's a great advice to Uhura, even if she punches him in the face, which I liked too. I just think it's Kirk is an interesting character. He should get more development. I know that he was the hero of TOS and he had so many lines, but also he's a character with very few opportunity to do something else than being the cowboy diplomacy captain.
Yeah.
And I think that Kirk is a complex character that can be a great strategist, a great friend, somebody that has ways to solve things that are unheard of. And I give me some Kirk.
Preach. I love it.
Anyway, they're gonna do it. I better enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. MC?
I was very against Kirk being on the show, but I do like Paul Wesley's performance. I like his performance in season 1 because it was the one episode and he was good in it. And I think that the more I've seen him, the more I understand why they're having him in the show, other than him being Kirk, because I just think that he is good in it. And I would like to think that when particularly McCoy gets drunk on the ship late at night, that he makes Uhura tell the story of how she broke Kirk's nose.
Yes. 1000%. Yes. I just have to say, I was not like anti-Kirk joy to the show. I think it's a natural thing for them to do. It's the lead up to him taking the chair. So I think it makes sense. Paul Wesley being cast. I never watched The Vampire Diaries, so I was fresh to the guy. I think he does a killer job. Quality of Mercy is fucking fantastic. Tomorrow is one of my favorite episodes of Trek. His relationship with Uhura is amazing. Like, he's even good in the fucking musical where he doesn't get a lot to do. Like, people think he's on the show a lot more than he is, and he's really not. And what he's been given, he's been excellent at. And I can't wait to see what they do with him in season 3. I want to talk about, since we already talked about his relationship with An very quickly, that one scene at the end of Lost in Translation, which gives me goosebumps talking about each time. The first meeting where Uhura and Spock and Jim all sit down in the handshake. Giraffe, how did you feel watching that?
Love that scene. I know people didn't like it. I don't care. I liked it. I liked it because it's not the triumvirate. It's not Spock, Kirk, and Bones. Spock, Kirk, and Uhura. And that made my little heart sing. Yeah. I'm like, yes. You know why she spent all her career on it used to make me mad to think that she spent all her career on the Enterprise, which we know is not true because Picard retconned that. She becomes the captain of the Undergrounds, and like she actually has a young cadet Picard under her tutelage. So I'm glad to see this, that she's actually part of the core team and that they keep together. They keep each other there because they trust each other and they have so much back history and so much growth and so much friendship. And I liked it. Yes, make it Kirk, Spock, and Uhura. I'm singing. I
love the little smirk where like they're talking about the things I like, and Uhura is just like giddy that like she's making friends. You know, it's like
because also she's young again.
Yeah.
She's younger than them. You
Yep.
know, she's just an ensign.
Yep.
One is a commander, and the other
one's
one
the
is
lieutenant.
a lieutenant.
Yeah. Yep.
Playing with the
older boys. Yeah. MC.
Everything Giraffe just said, plus I feel like it was not overplayed. I felt like it was done very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm going to ask this question real quick because I do think it's important because we are getting there. Do you think Strange New Worlds is setting up TOS era Kirk pretty well, or do you think they need to explore that a little bit more?
I mean, what the fuck is TOS era Kirk anyway?
Well, Captain of the Enterprise, the guy who's...
I know.
I mean that in what we kind of thought might happen in season 3, judging by the trailer with him losing the Farragut, like that's going to define him a little bit.
Yeah, I don't really care, to be honest, if they set him up as like the captain of the Enterprise, because we know he's gonna be the captain of the Enterprise. We know why he's gonna become the captain of the Enterprise. We know how he's gonna become the captain of the Enterprise. So for me, there's no really like big question mark in there. I know it's going to happen. I know how it's going to happen. I know when it's going to happen. I think it's interesting that it's a little bit like Star Trek 09 is like Kirk taking that command. So in 09, he takes that command against everybody. And then I think they're setting him up to be like the captain that's chosen by the crew.
Right.
And I like that better, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I like the fact that Kirk always seemed to stumble onto the chair of the Enterprise by like external pressure and not like hierarchical like decision. And like I kind of like that for him. You know, sometimes things happen in a weird way. So yeah.
Yep. MC.
Everything that Giraffe just said, except sadly, it's going to drive Sam Kirk off the ship and his glorious mustache to his death.
To his death.
Pancake murder.
Dude, we need to meet the wife and kid on the show at some point. Like they exist. Like come on, death by pancakes. Finally, last character, Commander Pelia gets introduced, replaces Hammer. How did we think? What did we think about Carol Kane joining Strange New Worlds draft?
Fucking love Carol Kane. Like I'm an Addams Family stan. Like I love her. I was so happy. I cannot understand the fuck what she's saying anytime. And especially I have to say that I watched the whole season 2 with no fucking subtitles because the screeners don't have any. So basically she was just here like speaking gibberish to me. And I was like, and everybody, it's like Chewbacca. I have no clue what this woman says. Like, I don't know what it is, but I can comprehend her. Foreign language will do that to you. I am so sad that we don't get to know why the fuck she knows Amanda. And that they made it like a point in the plot to be like, oh, Pelia is not here. Shut the fuck up. Why would you do that to me? I loved Tomorrow and Tomorrow that she was used at the plot point. I am so sad that she's not more important to the plot like Guinan is, for example. Like the fact that you have somebody that's been alive for so long and nobody gives a shit is crazy to me. I don't know. I know she's expensive. I know they can't have her in every episode. I know that they cannot do a central plot point around her. I know that most probably they're not going to keep her forever and forever. But I would love to have development for her. I will say something and everybody's going to hate me for that, but I don't care. I would like her to have more development than basically everybody else on the ship. She's my number one character.
I don't think that's a bad thing to say. Yeah, I like that.
I'm so curious about her. I am so curious because she has infinite possibility of stories to be told. She could have met Surak. She could have, like, I don't know, like you can do so many things. She may have met Khan. She may know what happens. She may have like facilitated the marriage of Spock's parents. I want to fucking know. I want to know, Star Trek. I want to know.
Let's pray. MC.
It's Carol
Pelia.
fucking Kane.
I know, it's Carol.
Which for me, the big roles are always going to be The Princess Bride and Scrooged. But
Taxi.
I mean, Taxi is pretty good too. But just in terms of movies, she's wonderful. I love Pelia. She's so weird. It's exactly what I expect Carol Kane to be playing, but not who I expect to be the chief engineer of the Enterprise.
I love it. She just steals shit. It's great.
That's why I love her. It's like, it is the last person you'd expect, right? But yet, like, she knows her shit. Like, she's very proficient at her job.
And it is just so different than we got with Hemmer. I love both of them for such different reasons because they're such different characters, but they both work. It's wonderful. So, yeah.
I just, oh, go ahead.
I just think that she gives so much explanation of why Scotty.
Yes.
Like, you watch TOS and you're like, what the fuck is going on with Scotty? And then you watch it and you're like, I get it now. I know why.
I actually, that's great because I'm going to go right to there. So I'm going to humble brag and say that I never thought I'd ever in my life have the opportunity to interview Carol Kane. And I got to interview Carol Kane, and she is amazing as you see her act on Stranger World as she is in person. She is an amazing human being. Before she even started like the interview, she was like looking at me. I was like, why is Carol Kane looking at me? She's like, I'm looking at all your tats. I was like, dude, you're fucking awesome. I love you. Draft, you just mentioned a great point, which is the last point we'll talk about with Pele. I'm skipping a lot of stuff tonight because we're going late. Why is Scotty? How are we looking forward to their relationship developing and seeing maybe why Scotty is Scotty? Go ahead.
Scotty is so unhinged. And I know, like, I watched TOS too much, but that man is fucking insane. He's like, it's gonna take 4 hours. Scotty, faster, 20 minutes. Was like possessed by the ghost of Jack the Ripper. Like, dude, Scotty is just like seen just bang like percussion maintenance through the Enterprise for like 3 seasons of TOS. And then speaking to a computer is his greatest fucking achievement. Like, I love Scotty so much. And I like the fact that we're getting Scotty lore before even getting Scotty, because I feel that there is so much of Pelia's like ways of doing engineering in Scotty.
Oh, yes.
And I really like that his mentor was an unhinged immortal alien. I'm like, yes, this is the Star Trek. Listen, this is the Star Trek I want. This is what I want to see. I want that kind of lore. I don't care who sleeps with who. I want this. I want that.
You care.
I want crazy aliens doing percussive maintenance in a ship that makes no sense.
Much. Yes.
I'm like, yes. And I'm happy to see Scotty. Like, let's be honest, Scotty is an underrated character that I used to hate when I was younger, and that the older I get, the more I fucking worship Scotty. For all the wrong reason, because the guy is fucking unhinged. Like, look at his haircut for TOS. Makes no sense.
Oh my God, it's so weird.
Makes no sense.
I gotta. I'm sorry, MC. I just have to say this before it leaves my mind. I got to imagine that part of the reason Scotty is so crazy because he's probably left with like all the workarounds and just like BS shit that Pelia probably did to the Enterprise to make it go at some point. And Scotty's just inherited almost like a lemon.
And he's also like drinking green for no good reason. And I think that it adds to his lore the fact that in the TNG episode where he wakes up so much later, that his mentor was an immortal alien. I'm like, the possibility she may still fucking be around, my man. Like, you know, it adds to the character. It's exactly what I wanted Strange New World for. It's like adding all these dimension around the character that makes it an unstoppable sources of like, what the fuck is going on? Oh my God, I want to know more. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Scotty. Yeah. Again, I know people are not happy with this, but I don't care.
I love Scotty. I think people are going to be happy.
Give me some redemption for Scotty, because his character is pretty misogynistic in TOS. Like, it's like kind of dated on a lot of things, and I'm looking forward of like maybe erasing all this and making like a bit like better, you know?
100%. MC, Pele and Scotty.
I was going to say that Scotty is my least favorite character in TOS. I do not like. I liked him in the episode Relics, and that is it. I do not like him in any of the TOS episodes because, as Giraffe said,
He sucks.
he is incredibly misogynistic, and it's not just in the episode with the Jack the Ripper thing. There are other
there's many others.
bonkers misogynistic moments, and I was not excited about the idea of him going onto the show. I wasn't excited about the idea of any legacy characters that aren't Spock and Uhura coming onto the show. But Pelia did create like this wonderful kind of, foreshadowing for Scotty. And then when we finally got to see him in Hegemony Part 1, he's marvelous. And I'm so looking forward to seeing them together because I can just foresee this being just wild.
Yeah. I think people are going to be really excited for what they see from both Pele and Scotty coming up. I had a whole section in here about Hegemony. We are going to skip it because we could just add this section to next week's episode, which is Hegemony Part 2. So I think it's a great section to put in before we talk about the actual episode. So we will skip.
And we're tired.
We are going to skip right to our favorite and least favorite moments from season 2. Very quickly, we will go in reverse order this time. MC, one favorite moment from season 2.
Riker.
Well, yes. Awesome. Giraffe.
Mariner fangirling with Uhura.
Yeah, that's a good one. Man, I'm just being the bad cheater of the night. I gotta say, just like everything in tomorrow. The more I watch that episode, the more I just like. It's a real standout episode of the season. And I thought other episodes of that season were my favorite, and it turns out I just love this episode.
Just say Romulans.
I'm gonna say Romulans. No, it's that scene with La'an. It's La'an and Baby Khan, and like that's a really big moment I think for Trek. And the more I think about it, and just having watched it a couple of days ago, it really hits with me. I love it. We'll go the other order now. Giraffe, least favorite moment.
What the fuck they did with Spock being human and the whole episode. Because we can choose whole episode.
I'll let you do it.
Charade,
yeah, fair. Okay.
The whole entire
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
I love Amanda. I love Amanda.
You gotta love
fantastic.
Amanda can do no wrong.
MC.
She's hot too.
She is hot.
I would say the amnesia plot from Among the Lotus Eaters.
Well, now I can't give mine.
I'm sorry. I can choose another one.
No.
There's a lot of Spock and Chapel moments.
No, I'm going to say it anyway because everybody knows that's like my least favorite episode. So the amnesia plot of that episode absolutely is my least favorite moment of season 2. Good stuff. Wow, we did it. We got through that whole season. We're still under 3 hours. Can we make it under 3 hours? Yes. We are going to go into the mailbag, and we will keep going in our order. Can you take Cassie's, please, Giraffe?
No, because I don't have the outline. I lied. No, I do. Oh, me. I forgot about mailbag. Go,
I can read it, and then you open it up.
All right, MC, you take Cassie's, please.
Cassie wrote, despite several excellent episodes, season 2 felt like a step down in quality from a fantastic first season. The emotional through line left me wanting more and less at the same time, particularly Spock's arc, which is a shame. On paper, exploring Vulcan romance and emotion should be right in my strike zone. Alas.
Nice. I will take the next one. Dana wrote, Strange World Season 2 is probably my favorite season of New Trek. It makes me feel all warm and fuzzy with old vibes and fun new vibes. So many amazing episodes and so many silly situations. The crossover episode is amazing, and don't even get me started on Subspace Rhapsody because I'll start singing and never stop. I hope season 3 can match the energy and up the ante all at once. Well said, well said. Can you take NYRL lights, please, Giraffe?
NY Rhylight wrote, I appreciate that they swung for the fences with a wide range of episodes from comedy like Those Old Scientists to dramas like Under the Cloak of War. I'm not a fan of musicals, but I applaud them for giving it a try in Subspace Rhapsody. Lost in Translation was my least favorite episode of the season, but seeing Kirk meet Uhura and Spock was fun.
Indeed it was. Indeed it was. MC, can you take Jedi Cats, please?
Jedi Cat wrote, Strange New World Season 2 felt like a mixed bag overall, but I love how the episodes vary in genre. Ad Astra, Tomorrow x3, and Those Old Scientists are instant classics. Subspace Rhapsody is a delightful trek into unexpected territory, and Hegemony ends the season on a high note. Strange New Worlds has developed into the trek with something for everyone. I hope it keeps up the momentum while staying fresh and taking Star Trek to creative new heights. Hit it.
All right. And you took us home with that. I didn't realize that was the last mailbag. Well done. Well done. We did it again, once again. Great opinions all night long. Gotta love it. Listen, it's been a long night, but we have something to be excited about. Next Thursday, we'll be talking about New Trek again. Oh my God, it's been so long.
We're back, baby.
We're back. It's been so long. We will be back with our review of the season premiere, Hegemony Part 2, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are thinking we are reviewing both episodes on Thursday, we are not. Come back the following Monday for our review of Wedding Bell Blues, okay? So, Strange New Worlds, we're here next week. That's going to do it for this one. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all the things. Go like us on Facebook. Follow us over there now. We're really active there. That's going to do it. We'll see you next week. For MC, for Giraffe, live long and prosper. Majram, Sarcastic Vulcan salute, and good night.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the hailing frequencies open, you can subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Like what you hear? Put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.